soon. I just hit my OBS, and then I'm going to say my howdy and aloha. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it'll happen. Oh my gosh, I think I'm live. All right, cool. Howdy and aloha, everybody. This is James with Montauk. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. I know it's a Sunday night, but only certain people can come on Sunday nights. And these people, in my opinion, take precedence on in many areas. So what we do here at Montauk is sometimes we'll have a group of people talking about open forum. You can come and rant, rave, and discuss anything you want politically. Most of us are critical thinkers that we lean definitely true progressive, not just progressive, but true progressive. Liberals, of course, we're very open-minded, very free, lots of independents. Even some Democrats and Republicans have been on here. Have interviews with Justice Democrats. We've had Democrats. We've had a lot of Green people. I myself am a very, very vowed Green as of new. There's a lot of people out there that are Green, and we just enjoy people coming on. But Montauk itself, for me and my core, is basically just getting people up to speed on what's really going on out there with the world. No hyperbaloney, nothing paid and led and created and orchestrated by the mainstream media. Independent news, independent information, independent perspectives, and we get some really great people that come on this show. So my core is planet, saving the planet. I know that's a broad stroke, but we've got to do these little steps first. We got to put the right people in the right places, hopefully mostly Green, out there to start changing that and saving the planet. And of course, once you start doing that, you save the people and all of its inhabitants, and things just kind of get better for everybody. So without further ado, by the way, I have a special guest on the phone. His name is Mr. Tony Smith, and Tony Smith is in charge of the Green News Network. And Tony, thank you very much for coming tonight. What's going on, bro?
Hey, not too much. Thanks for having me on your show. I definitely appreciate it. And we do, like you were saying, do need to, bridge some gaps and bring us all together, because we are all, like you said, true progressives, and not just the progressives by word. Yeah. We are progressive by deed as well. So happy to be here. A little nervous, but that's how it goes. I definitely appreciate you having me on.
Hey, I got a question. So how long have you, I've watched the Green News Network a few times. I've got so much crap going on, bro. But so when did you get the idea, and when did you start the Green News Network?
Well, basically, I've been a Green Party member since '96. Was the first time I ever voted for Nader, and I was out at my polling station when I lived in Illinois, and I was, I had my Nader sign, and I got laughed at, all kinds of stuff. So then 2000 voted for Nader. 04, there was the split, and this is where, I have the issue. We'll get into that later, but there was a split in the Green Party for Nader and David Cobb. I was afraid, and I was young, so I was like, oh, I'm going for Cobb. Right. He's a Green Party nominee. That's what it is. And then after that, Cynthia McKinney, and then Jill Stein twice, and here I am today. Now, as far as me starting the Green News Network, I started that in 2015. I started a radio show called the Bernie Kratz Radio Show. And it was just a regular radio show. It wasn't a network, because we have many shows on the network. Mm-hmm. And, so I got caught up in the Bernie craze, because I figured that he, was going to do what he said he was going to do and everything, or what have you. So I started that show and got a lot of Democrats to start saying, hey, I'm going to be a Bernie Krat. And then in 2016, when it became clear that Bernie Sanders was a sheepdog, in my view, and I know there's some controversy in that regard.
Perfect. Yes. Yes.
But I found that, he promised us in California there was going to be a contested convention. A lot of us spent money, went to the convention, and then instead of him uh, contesting it, he first of all won a roll call vote in the morning, but the Hillary people got all mad, and we had to do another roll call vote. When that roll call vote went on, Bernie Sanders suspended the roll call vote and asked that the rules be suspended and Hillary Clinton be nominated. From that point, everybody walked out, and Jill Stein was in FDR Park, I think it was, in Philadelphia, which is kind of ironic. But we all met there, and and the rest is history as far as going back to green. And through that process is when I rebranded, and then I trademarked the name, the Green News Network. And from that point, we were just going to support Green Party members. No more dealing with the duopoly. It's time to break up the duopoly. So Bernie Sanders was the last straw as far as me and hundreds, I've come to find out, of Greens who feel the same way, that we should not deal with the Democrat Party in any way, shape, or form because they are a part of the duopoly system, to which we are now fighting because of Citizens United and election fraud, which is why the Green Party is marginalized. So we started April 7th, 2016 is when I launched the network. And we were real big for a while, and then we started to taper off. And then now we just have an average of about, I'd say, 300 or so listeners per show. But before we were doing like 1,000, 2,000. It was going real well, but then, then stuff started happening within the Green Party as far as some other people, and we can talk about that as well, but that's when things started happening, and then there's this division. And then you got the burners, they are flipping out, and it's just a big mess right now on the left. So that's pretty much it, like as far as we started it. We started it because we said that we're going to take a stand and we're going to break up the duopoly. We're not going to support Democrats. And through this network, we're going to present the truth. And whether it be pro left or anti-left, we're going to present the truth. Even if there's a Green Party member, if they're corrupt, we're going to expose you. We don't care who you are, what party you're from. If you're not doing what the people want done, we're going to expose you. And that's what we've been doing in the Green Party, because we don't deal with the duopoly no more. And we encourage everyone to either Demexit or GOP exit and come home to the Green Party, because if you find the Green Party's 10 principles and 4 pillars, you'll find yourself being completely aligned with them, because they're based on nature. The 10 principles were created in '84 by environmentalists who understood the natural connection between nature and humans. And that's where the 10 principles come from. And if we all align in the 10 principles, we'll be in alignment with nature. And that's what ultimately peace and planet over profit and poverty means. And that's why, I support the Green Party wholeheartedly. In so much, I'm willing to die for this. That's how passionate I am about this. So,
wow, that's huge. That's that's so powerful. And the reason why I say that is because it hits the core of what I'm trying to do, and it hits the core of what everybody's trying to do. But the problem is if you're trying to do it in a way that's not the norm, right? And if you're trying to go outside of the box and do things in a different way, that's not the norm. To some, it can be seen as you're going against the grain. But then for some, they're saying, Well, if it needs to be done, then we need to do it. If it's the 21st century, we need to do things. And you're doing it. You're out there. You're starting the Green News Network. Kind of weird that it's gone kind of down in the viewing. I wish I had that many viewers, but soon there will be more viewers.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
hoping.
definitely.
I'm hoping. But the thing
Oh
is
well, we're gonna do our part on our end because that's the whole thing, man. There's no big I's and little U's. You know, this is what socialism is all about. Socialism is out of many we are one. So there's no big I's and little U's. And you know, if my brother, you're my brother now, and if my brother needs my help to grow his network so that our common good that we're trying to accomplish moves forward, you know, I serve my brother and I get his show going. You know what I mean? I'll put my show to the side for my brother. And that's how we all got to look at it. But, you know, there are people who want power, you know what I mean? And that's where I like lose it because it's not about that.
that's not so. So from what I'm hearing, is your mission is very aligned with pretty much every Green out there. And
Yep.
if you understand the Green Party, um, they are about the pillars and they do want the pillars. However, and this is important to know as I bring up the 21st century, for people to see and hear and witness and better understand, we've got to get ourselves out there. It's that
Yep.
simple. So what I've been saying is we need to get ourselves between the mainstream media and the event. The mainstream media and that rally. The mainstream media and that whatever they're displaying or whatever they're covering. I don't care if they're covering tornadoes in freaking Oklahoma, right? Somebody needs to walk up right in front of the camera and you know in a hula skirt with a bandana on that says Green Party. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
This is something that we've got to start doing. I mean that's a little extreme, and I don't want anybody to get sucked up by a freaking tornado.
Well,
But you understand what I'm saying, right? Yeah.
yeah, people can start out by hashtags. I mean, memes. All those things work. We have to get out physically as well, but internet wise, we have a good uh, way to broaden our horizons because the Green Party has grown through the internet since 2016, and people can do small things like hashtag break up the duopoly when you're talking to somebody on Facebook or Twitter, or hashtag dim exit, hashtag green enter, or put a meme, you know, Bernie should have been green, you know what I mean, or whatever you can do to say that the Green Party is what the American people want. They're going to listen. I mean, it happened with, and unfortunately, these people are sheepdogs. It happened with Ron Paul. Ron Paul got his message out. The duopoly had to deal with it. Bernie Sanders got his message out. The duopoly had to deal with it. With the Green Party, the duopoly can't deal with it because the Greens are not a part of the duopoly at all. The only thing that
Good
they can
point.
do
Good point.
The only thing that they can do is co-opt the Green Party to hang out with the duopoly. So the Green Party would be a third party that's aligned with a party in the duopoly. And who are they aligning with? The Democrats, which is why I'm a staunch opponent of us dealing with Democrats at all. Because when people look at us and say, oh, the Greens, well, I can just vote for the Democrat because they're the same. So, and their Democrats are already, so I'll just deal with the Democrats. I don't have to vote for the Greens. But so glad you guys are helping us. And that's not how it should be looked at. It should be looked at as, I'm sick of the damn Democrats. These Greens got it together, and I'm going to vote for them. That's how the Democrats and the Republicans used to be a third party. And they got President Abraham Lincoln. If the Republicans, the Whig Party, the Bull Moose Party, if they can do these things, the Green Party can do it. The problem is we have co-opters. And that's what people fail to realize. And then when you tell them that the party has co-opters, then they get discouraged because they're just leaving some co-opting from the Democrat Party. But in order to just let them know, hey, it is because of the Democrat Party there is co-opting in the Green Party. And you continue to stay with the Democrats. So get out of that Democrat Party, get over here and help us kick these bastards out of this party so that we can have it. And then another thing is that it's hard is because they're in the 10 principles, you can't take corporate donations. And you can be kicked out of the party for it. The National Committee can set up a meeting and then vote on it and get you kicked out of the party for taking corporate donations. If anybody breaks any of the 10 principles of the 4 pillars, you could be kicked out of the party, which is what some people were trying to do to me. But when, I had my meeting, they found that I didn't break any 10 principles. So the person who tried to get me kicked out, they sent them a letter letting them know that that's not going to happen. So
okay, let me, if you don't mind,
go ahead.
I
I'm
just
sorry.
want. No. Thank you for bringing this information. So you're kind of everything is fantastic, and then there seems to be, well, you're kind of getting to, is there seems to be a little friction. Am I correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, great friction, to be honest.
Let me just ask you
go
this
ahead.
quick question. Let's ask this quick question. Is it something you think is just more of a misunderstanding, or maybe we just need to all sit in a room and talk and try to, use our words and fix this? Do you think it's something that could be fixed in that manner, like a big
It is.
round table? Okay, good.
It is something that can be fixed.
Good.
First, I'll say this. We need to address the elephant in the room, which is the same thing the Democrats wouldn't address, which was election fraud. And the Democrats had Hillary Clinton steal their election from Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
In 2004, David Cobb stole the election from Ralph Nader. With 12% of the vote, David Cobb won. Now, I remember when I was younger, the animosity, and I didn't understand then. I was like, why are you guys mad at David Cobb? Nader's the one who wants to go independent. I didn't know why the whole, what the whole thing was then.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, well, I'm going for David Cobb. He is the nominee. I don't care what none of you guys are saying. And I didn't know. But, through the years getting older, you read, you research, and you find these things. And I found that he stole the 2004 election, which is why all that problem was.
So how did he steal it? Do you know exactly how?
Well, yeah, I know exactly how he did it. He got 12% of the vote when we did the vote but at the convention, same with Hillary, what she did. At the convention, he stacked the convention with his delegates. They intimidated other delegates that were, pro Nader or pro any of the other candidates. And when he did that, that made it so that it seemed as if that he won because all the delegates, voted for him at the convention. But the delegates didn't represent the popular vote, just how the super delegates don't represent the popular vote in the Democrat Party. It's exactly what happened in the Green Party. So for 13 years, the Green Party has been co-opted by the Democrat operatives, because David Cobb used to he campaigned for Democrats like Jesse Jackson, so he was a Democrat before he came to the Green Party.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing, in 2000 we had 2.8 million votes in the Green Party. In 2016 we had 1.4 million votes. If this was a business, the CEO would be fired.
Right.
Because there's no growth. So why is there no growth? Is it because of the propaganda? Yeah, that's partly it. But there are people who are purposely sabotaging the local parties in order for us not to grow. And they're doing that in Michigan. that party has a bunch of people, and it's disorganized. It was organized, but they got these Democrats who have gotten into power positions in these parties and taken them over. California, the Sacramento Green Party being taken over, co-opted. The
Wait.
state.
Okay, before you continue,
Go ahead.
you and sorry, I don't mean to just cut you off,
No, it's fine. It's fine.
but
It's
what
no
happens
problem.
is when you throw out a claim or an allegation or something like that, what happens a lot out in the mainstream media is people just let them run. So when I hear something that goes, huh, then I have to ask, so how exactly did, let's just use Michigan as you're saying as an example.
Okay.
How did they co-op and take over? Are you saying like
Okay.
blues that were wannabe greens kind of did it, or I mean,
Well, okay. All right. There was a great Demexit in July 29th, 2016. It was huge Demexit, millions of people.
I was part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then there was another one, a large migration that happened after too. I think it was after the DNC fraud when they said that that the DNC is a private organization and they can nominate whoever they want. And then there was the second great Demexit. Through those Demexits, there are people from the Democrat Party who has experience, in politics and has experience in, canvassing, phone banking, campaigning.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to the Green Party because there used to be Democrats doing it. Now they're doing it for the Green Party. What happened, and I could throw out names, of the people who've come in and co-opted the party, and how they do it is based on identity politics.
I'm gonna ask you not to say names, and the reason
Okay,
why I
cool.
don't want you to say names, because what that does is we you know what I'm saying. If you
I
throw out
already know. I
if you
know the
throw out a
media thing. I
name,
know how it works.
they're going
Yeah,
to there's going to be it just throws more fuel on the fire. So
sure. No, I totally
this is
understand.
so what I'm getting here, and this is good to know, is and this is great information. I'm telling you, you have no idea how important this is, because now you're telling us things that need to be fixed. What's
Yeah,
broken?
but nobody
What
wants to address these things.
that's I
You
was
know,
just going to get to that. Exactly. Exactly. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going. I did. Go ahead.
oh, okay.
So
No, it's
Michigan. So you're
fine,
talking
brother.
about Michigan, and there's some people, and these processes happened, and so my biggest concern is what do you believe their motivation is? What is their driving force to get these positions? Do you believe it's to co-op with another party,
I,
or do you believe it's to help the Green Party, or obviously not that, but what is your perspective on what you think they're trying to do to the Green Party?
they're trying to keep the Green Party marginalized. That's the game. The game is to keep the Green Party marginalized and continue to be the scapegoats for the Democrats not doing what they say they're going to do in their platforms. So when the Democrats lose the 2000 election, who they blame? Ralph Nader. When the Democrats lost the 2016 election, who did they blame? Jill Stein.
Right. Yeah.
So they are using the Green Party as the scapegoat. They steal votes. They don't want to admit that they're losing their base. They have lost their way. The Democrats don't admit that. So these Democrats leave the Democrat Party to keep the Greens marginalized. And how they do it is say, Bernie or Green. That's one of the hashtags they use. We could vote for either Bernie or Green.
Mm-hmm.
Let's some people do Green Party and some people fix the Democrat Party from within. That way we're dealing with both sides. Well, really what's happening is that they are perpetuating the duopoly. because when you're helping the Democrats, what does that do for the Greens? Nothing. Here's an example. Bernie Sanders ran, so all the Greens were busy helping and spending money with Bernie Sanders, and we have a candidate in Jill Stein who we only had 3 months to prepare her for the presidential candidacy because we spent all our time dealing with Bernie Sanders. And this is what they want Greens to be doing, helping the Democrats until there's no more help to help them and fall on our faces pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it's been going for 13 years. That's why you got a lot of people who just left the Green Party and now they're independent, or they left the Green Party and went to PIP, which is the Progressive Independent Party.
Right.
And we're actually fighting. Unfortunately, David Cobb and Jill Stein are saying we need to align and have coalitions. And no, we don't. We need to say we're the Green Party. We have ballot access in 48 states. We have Green parties in every county in the entire country. We have Green parties in every state in the union. Join the Green Party. And then that's how you know where everyone's loyalties lie. Their loyalties ultimately lie with the Democrat Party.
Right. Sadly. So the biggest question that I've always had, and you've stated your case on what's going on, and that's fantastic. Thank you very much for all that, by the way. And
Not a problem, my brother.
That's great. So the biggest question I've always had for the Green Party is, how are you going to sell yourself? Because, look, I'm in sales. I've been in advertising and marketing forever. And the biggest thing that the Green Party doesn't have is anybody really marketing them. Or the best word for it is selling what they're doing. So when you're saying this is what I've always had a problem with the Green Party. The pillars. Nobody's going to follow, 10 pillars right now. The other thing is if you can get out what people really want. So if what I'm trying to tell them right now is everybody, 70% of the nation wants universal health care, single payer, Medicare for all. Okay? Everybody that knows anything wants the what do they call that? Fuck, just a second. Citizens United. They want that to be overturned.
Yeah.
Right. So and a few other infrastructures stop the fucking orchestrated wars. I mean, there's a lot of things that could really, and that is my opinion, that'll really help the Green Party. Because honestly, we're everything,
but they don't push it.
Yeah, we're everything and more that Bernie has to offer. I don't care what anybody says,
Yeah. What it is the Green New Deal is what that is. Is what'll help all those, because basically the Green New Deal is this. The Green New Deal is to divest out of fossil fuels and invest in renewable energy, which will create 25 million green paying jobs. The government also would have to set up programs to reemploy those people who've lost their jobs from the fossil fuel companies. They'd have to be a program to transition them into green energy, the green energy industry that's going to come out of this. And then through that Green New Deal and transferring everything to renewable energies, that's going to open up a bunch of different new industries, innovations, and technologies, which will also kill the wars, because the wars that the military-industrial complex conduct is for natural resources.
Right.
If we are using renewable energy as opposed to using you don't need war, and you don't need the natural resources because you're recycling them. So there's no really need to have the lust for that stuff because we recycle it, and it's open for everybody. Also, within doing the Green New Deal and doing these energy programs, it also opens up technology and innovations for food, better foods. Better, no more pesticides. The Green New Deal can completely change the way life exists on this planet.
Absolutely.
And if we push that fact that the Green New Deal can do this, as the New Deal did for the Democrat Party from 1932 to 1945, it completely transformed the economy. And we had the greatest middle class the world has ever seen from that New Deal. This is the same thing that can happen with the Green New Deal. The only problem is we don't have Greens in office to promote it. So what do? We have to get these Greens in office. And that's how they have to pursue what you're saying, the marketing. That is the market. That's the marketing, the Green New Deal. But they're not pushing it hard enough.
Okay.
And then you could tell it's on purpose at times. They have money for, why do you have these low budget cameras? And everything's low budget. They can make themselves look more professional. Why is that not happening? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's because it is because we are being co-opted, and it is on purpose. The Green Party can be the most powerful party on the planet, but in all Green parties across the world, they're being marginalized by the establishment. That's bottom line. So how do we market? The people have to leave the duopoly alone. Quit worrying about those people who are staying. If we stand on these 10 principles and stand on the Green New Deal and teach people about the Green New Deal and learn ourselves more about the Green Party and get involved more, it'll just be like, okay, remember when 9/11, you said 9/11 is an inside job, you're a psychopath. Today, you say 9/11 was an inside job. Well, which theory do you believe? Back in the day, it wasn't like that. So if 9/11 can find its way to the truth, the Green Party can do the same. Right. It's just they need people like you and people like me to continue to stand and stand and stand and stand until people are saying, you know what? Those people have been standing for 30 years.
We're standing,
Let's go over there and see why they're standing up.
Expanded. I love that.
So that's it, bro. I mean, we have to stand for the Green Party. And the leaders aren't doing that. But the only one who really is Ajamo Baraka. Ajamo Baraka, I'll say this about him. I thought he was a racist when him and Claudia Schreiber got into that little spat.
Right.
And I was like, he's a racist. I since apologized to him. He's actually in our chat now, and I'm going to campaign for him to be president. But he told me, I know why you think I'm racist. It's because of the propaganda. He said this. Do you know what will destroy imperialism? And then, I went, the Green New Deal, this. No. The liberation of the black race across the planet. If there's nobody to exploit, imperialism ceases to exist.
Woo. Wow. Perfect. Wow.
Dude, I got goosebumps. Goosebumps saying that.
Woo. That's just,
and then that let me know, Jama, you are way ahead of the game.
Yeah,
that blew my mind when he told me that.
Ahead of the game, bro. Wow, that's so okay. So I am ecstatic that you're big on marketing and selling, but here's the thing: the Green New Deal is a wonderful deal, and I am aware and totally know that the Green New Deal implements everything that I've kind of spewed out. But here's the thing: you've got to have a hook.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And that's where we are. We don't have that.
You got to have a hook. So then you find the hook. What is so when you're going after a particular demographic, you've got to find their hook. So so what is I want single payer, man. I don't have any health care. We're going to get that for you. And this, that, and the other thing. Well, my streets are just disgusting. We don't have sidewalks. We're going to get your infrastructure taken care of, and a few other things. You see what I'm saying? You get everybody by their hook, or what is their hot button? When you're trying to sell somebody, I'm just saying, and they'll understand that. But there's a difference between us This is the biggest
Right.
difference. The biggest difference between the Green Party and the TPO, or the two-party oligarchy, I call it,
Mhm.
is we don't take lobbyists, super PAC, 1% corporate donations. We
Right.
work for the people. We
Right.
work for the U.S. voting republic. That should be one of the
Right.
biggest hooks right there, for sure. Because that's why people went to fucking Trump. That's why they went to
Yep.
Trump.
Yep. And I try to say that, and people call me a Trump supporter, and I'm like, I am just telling you the mind of a human being. A person will drink sand if you sell it to them correctly. So this is what Trump did, people, and we are not doing that. So what do? We leave the Democrat Party, and then we get into the Green Party, and you fix it. You fix what's broken in the Green Party, and like you said, we have to get the hook. The Green New Deal is the broad base.
Yeah, but it's not the
The
hook.
the situations within the Green New Deal is the hooks. So, like,
Yeah.
for instance, in my state, we need single payer real bad here. Because we have what's it called?
Romney
I
Care.
forget. No, it's yeah. Well, yeah, we got Romney Care, but it's exchanges. We got exchanges,
Okay.
and some of your insurance may not cover different exchanges, and you have to find the right exchange or what have you. So it's real complicated. So and we end up losing. Well, my family loses $3,000 a year because of the exchange situation, where some don't cover, some do.
That's so
And
crazy.
we don't feel like going to find the exchange we need, so we just pay them. We just give them the $50, for the visit or what have you, or whatever.
The copay.
So we need single payer real bad here. So I push Green New Deal, Green Party. Within the Green New Deal, we have one big thing: Green New Deal. That's what we want to do. Well, what's in the Green New Deal? Single payer health care. Within the Green New Deal, we can push, because all you have to do with single payer, and this is Jill Stein's thing, is you have to lift the age restriction on Medicare and Medicaid, and voila, you have single payer. Because
totally.
Medicare and Medicaid, yeah, that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Lift the age restriction. Congress, all they have to do is lift the age restriction so that there's no age restriction, and everybody in the entire country is immediately covered by Medicare.
So just letting you know, Tony, just letting you know something. We've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I've been doing for 21 years, man. Just learning and trying to grow, trying to help the Green Party. And within these last 4 years is when I really dug in and said, you know what, I'm going to stop just voting. I'm going to stop being an election citizen.
Right.
I'm going to be a civic citizen. Only when I'm sleeping am I not a civic citizen. When I'm awake, I am doing something for my country so that the people of my country can live better. Whether it be doing this network to inform people, or campaigning for candidates in the Green Party, or donating to the candidates, or whatever it is, I'm doing something other than voting. And that's where I believe that if we could get all the people in that state of mind, we'll be a dangerous force to be reckoned with.
Okay, so I'm going just to let you know, I've got to say hello to some of the people. And did you say
Sure.
Barack
Ajama Baraka.
Ojama Baraka. I gotta say that 21 times. Ojama Baraka. I know, I've heard him, I've seen him. I met Jill Stein here in Irvine. He wasn't with her at that point, about a year ago, before the general election. And
Right.
we had a
Before
great
she had
her
him
and I had a great
nominee.
conversation. She is
She a good woman, man. She just needs to get out from under the influence of David Cobb, in my view. But as far as her core values, dude, she is the best candidate you could possibly have. And the fact that she can destroy the mainstream media, I mean, rip them to shreds. I've never seen a politician destroy the mainstream media like she does. I mean, she just
Every
rips
time.
them a new. Yeah, every time.
Every time.
Every time.
But here's what I just from me being more absorbed and now entrenched in, because I'm trying to become a SGA in Orange County,
Oh, okay.
which I need to do because my goal is to help California at the media with the media committee of
Yeah.
California more, because there are ideas and actual software and information and things that I've done. I'm not going to go through my entire resume, but I completely know that it needs to happen. And what we'd like to do is be the model for the rest of some other states. Not totally, not thoroughly, but take bits and pieces of whatever you want that works for you, because every state is different. Everybody has a different demographic, different populace, different characteristics and personalities. So you've got to, cater to those things. But like I said, my major goal with them is to help. And if I can bring somebody like you on to do that, to share your message, which you're doing, which is awesome, and promote the same party that I'm on, which all of us, offer everything that anybody wants. I mean, everything's going to be paid. The biggest question is, and the biggest question I get all the time is, so you guys want this, that, and the other thing, but who's going to pay for it? Right? I always get that. I guess I go, well, if you got another 15, 20 seconds, I can tell you. But then they don't want to
Right.
hear it, right? Especially the
No.
Republicans. That's just their comeback. They don't want to know the answer. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? So we've got to
Yeah.
get past this cognitive dissonance that's out there. The other thing is that you brought up, which I think is huge. We've got to be more cohesive. We've got to find a
Yep.
way, because you're bringing up David Cobb, other people are bringing up Nader, other people are bringing up this. Let's just say, for example, we started today. What if we just started today and we said, "Hey, let's start a new party today. What do we need to do?" You see what I'm saying? To win. What do we need to do to get? Because there's 32 people running for Congress that I had that on the Angela Duenas. Do you know who she is?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be on my show on the 22nd. We're going to have a Q&A for her. And there's 32 people running for Congress. I mean, just imagine if we had 5 Greens in the House.
Right.
What if we had
It
one?
turned.
What if we had just one?
Dude, it turned the entire duopoly on its head.
It fucking would. It would just totally just all of a sudden they go, "What the fuck?" And they would just look and go, "Oh damn, oh snap," and then they'd have to check us out. They'd have to pay
And
attention.
people would then begin to say, hey, because there are 132 Greens who are in office today, all state and local. We have no federal Greens, but we do have 132 state and local Greens who are in office right now.
Yeah, we do.
And
imagine
and then I think it was like 70 something that won in 2016. So it was a big jump. Because everybody was disillusioned with the Democrats. The whole thing, in my view, is just people just are lazy and they don't want to research. They say the main thing I get is, well, do you guys have any candidates? Well, let me get the website for you since you don't want to research it on your own. Here you go. Here's the website, and then they see all these candidates. California to New York, and I, oh my God, I didn't know you guys were running all that. Well, when you ask about the party, maybe you should do some research. If people have these thoughts in your mind, wouldn't the next best thing to do is maybe Google, since, people use Google. I use DuckDuckGo because they don't track you, but Google it, Google the Green Party. You'll see all kinds of stuff on it. And I'm sure that for every Democrat, there's a Green Party person on your page on Facebook and Twitter. I guarantee it. So ask the Green Party person who's railing against the Democrats. Hey, Green Party guy. Hey, I see you on my page all the time. I don't never talk to you, but what's up with the Green Party? What's this? He'll tell you. He or she will be more than happy to tell you about the Green Party. That's basically my view, that the people are just lazy. So what we need to do is, every election season, we need to be ramming these candidates down their throat instead of fighting the Democrats about what they're doing. We need to leave them alone, let them do their thing, and the Green Party needs to do its thing. Joe Manchin, he is running for the 12th District of Ohio for the House of Representatives. He has two chances to get Pat Tiberall. I've been campaigning for him. I went on Pat's page. I've been you can call it harassing, but if you're a public figure, you have to be subject to the public. So I was on his page daily telling him how much of a coward he was for not debating Joe Manchin. Me and Joe Manchin did an interview of a paper cutout debate between him and Pat Tiberall. So I'd ask a question, Joe would give me his answer, and we'd play a clip of what Pat Tiberall would answer to that question, because he would not debate Joe. And we made that a big thing. And he ended up, and I'm not saying that we had anything to do with it, but he ended up quitting his job as the House of representative in the 12th District, and now he's going on to be a lobbyist. So Joe Manchin has the chance to win that seat, right? Because there's going to be a runoff, so he can join that runoff and win that seat in the runoff. And if he doesn't win it on the runoff, he still has the election to go for the Pat Tiberall, because Tiberall's gone. So someone needs to finish out his term until November. Mm-hmm. So Joe could win that, finish out his term, and then run as an incumbent and win the seat. So that's what's going on in Ohio. He has a good chance of winning, too, because he got pretty good support there. It's just those Democrats in Ohio. And Ohio is another co-opting state where they're having problems there, because Ohio's Green Party is growing huge. Okay. So they're trying to...
Sorry, real quick. When you say co-opting, you brought that up a few times. So just so we get this right, you're saying that co-opting means that blues are sending in a mole or somebody to...
Yes. To disrupt things, to sow division, because we're trying to help each other, and then they go try to get with our revolution. Let's have our revolution endorse our... No, we don't need our revolution. They are with the Democrats. If we get Joe Manchin to be endorsed by our revolution, they're going to think that he's aligned with the Democrats, and who is the Democrat running against them, they're going to vote for him or her. So that's what they're doing. And then there are a couple people in the party who are doing Nina Turner for, Greens for Nina Turner, and she's going to run as a Democrat.
Who the fuck is doing that shit? That's bullshit, dude. Fuck
this
that.
Dude, Kenneth Sanders, that's in the Ohio Green Party.
No.
There's a number of them. I know them because I see, when they're promoting it or what have you, because I'm all over the internet, because we've got websites on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Stimit, you name it. We got a site over there, and I'm able to watch them, from those different sites, and that's how I'm seeing all this stuff. And then, so you got that going on in Ohio. Also, because Joe Manchin has a good chance to win, you have this stuff going on, this co-opting stuff going on in Ohio. Also, they are trying not to set Joe Manchin up as an official candidate of the Green Party. He is a candidate for the Green Party, but they're not putting him officially on the site and that sort of thing. Then you have...
I don't understand how that would be. That's just so... Well,
It's shady.
it's shady. Well, shady is the word. But then, well, this is what my grandfather always told me. Okay, he said there are two sides to the story, right?
Right.
And then there's your perception of the truth.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so depending on who sells their story the best, honestly, coming from me, Mr. Advertising Salesperson, blah blah blah. You when you when you get the nuts and bolts, and if you have the facts, and if you have the links, and you have the sources, and you can reference everything and find out what's really going on, then you can, of course, make a better decision on what's really happening. In regards to the Green Party, I'm just saying, we have got to get past all this crap. We have got to come together. We have got to start to be more not be more cohesive, be cohesive, and
Yeah,
find
I
a
agree.
way to, because if we can't, I'll tell you this: there's no way in fucking hell that anybody's going to go, whether you're them exiting and coming back, whether you're with the People's Party or the Bernie Party, and there's like 200 and something parties now since July
Right.
16th,
Right.
right? It's crazy. You're not going to go back into a party that's owned by super PACs and giant lobbying bodies and corporations and the 1%. In on both of those, in both the two party oligarchy, that's not going to fucking happen. They spent in
Right.
their advertising during the general election. They spent like, I don't know, $2 billion, right?
Yeah.
So what? Besides that being huge on their end of it, we cannot, do not, should not have the time for for anything but just finding a way to come together in a round table. And I'm telling you, this is a great platform, because in a little bit here, I'm going to bring some of the people in the chat might come on and ask questions, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
not a
they're
problem.
all
Not a
greens. They're
problem.
all green. We're all true. If anybody does something stupid, I'm booting them. That telling you
Yeah.
right now.
No, that's
If
cool.
if you
And
want to feel,
I'll maintain my I won't get overly emotional or what have you. I'll maintain my cool too. If
yeah, you seem like you're
so.
a pretty cool dude already.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I'm a real laid back person, man. It's just when there are evil things afoot, I'm gonna expose it. And all you have to do is tell me one way or the other. You know what the problem is?
Just
Like,
tell
well,
me.
I'm exposing. I'm saying, hey, I see this going on. Tell
Yeah,
me what. I never get the other side of the story.
just
Instead of me getting the other side of the story,
yeah,
they attack me, and then we're fighting because you attacked me. I'm going to attack you
right.
back.
Yeah, just tell me
You
what's
know?
going on. Just tell me what. That's all you got to do is just what do I? Just tell me what's happening. You know what I mean? Oh wait,
Yeah.
let me see if I think I lost the. Just give me a second. Hang on.
Sure.
I gotta go post this back in the studio. Darn it!
Yeah.
Dang it, Jim! You silly man. Uh, Hang on, just a second, please. Yeah. So here's a good question. Um, in regards to a very important abbreviation, GNN, very important. What are your plans? What do you want to do with that? I mean, do you have something short term,
You
long
mean
term?
the acronym or the network itself?
The your plans for what you want to do with the green. What do you want to have on the show? What you know? What
Oh,
how do you want it to evolve? That's a better
I
question.
want it to be a 24-hour loop. I want it to play 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and have it be live streamed on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually on MeWe and Minds, because they're all starting to develop live streams. Also, the website live stream, we live stream from there too.
Mm-hmm.
So we eventually want to have a 24-hour loop of all the shows that we run, because we run a number of shows, and we want to run a 24-hour loop on that, And that basically what that does is the 24-hour loop gives us where we can sell advertising time as well as do fundraising like for donations, so that we don't have to have a yearly fund drive. We can just ask for donations and that sort of thing, in between the broadcasts, if when we have a 24-hour loop. Also, what a 24-hour loop does is it keeps your network going, so the people will feel comfort in knowing that if they don't see it in a month, it's going to be live streaming in a month. They're not going to miss anything, so they can, or you got those people who all they want to do is listen to it. So they'll just have their computer or however they listen and just have it setting and they're doing their thing. They're at work or wherever.
Right.
We also want to expand into satellite, because the satellite digital broadband and satellite is fast.
Mm-hmm.
So we can run a lot of content through satellite and get different channels on the satellites to carry the show. And they'll do it on their own without us knowing or anything. So that's why we eventually want to get out in satellite. So we want to try to broaden our foothold on the internet and overcome the censorship, because what's happened through all of these last 2 years, we've been intimidated. I've been physically intimidated. I've had people come into my house, steal all of my recording equipment and my DJ equipment. They stole it all. But I had renter's insurance, so I got it all back. I've had people come and come into my house, unscrew light bulbs, like just kind of mind screw with me. I've had people inbox me, threatening my life. I've had people try to, again, like I said, intimidate me. We've been demonetized by Google AdSense, Facebook, because we were on Facebook mentions for a while, and then they took us off Facebook mentions and demonetized us. So then, so Facebook demonetized us, Google AdSense demonetized us, YouTube demonetized us, and they're a part of Google, and then the advertisers that we had for the shows we do, we have those little links to advertisers. They won't work with us because they're afraid of Google, because Google will demonetize them. Mm-hmm. Google also demonetized our Blogspot. We had that. That was monetized. Google demonetized that. So we got completely demonetized by Google, Facebook, and that's because the reason is they
Why?
said
Yeah. So real quick, sorry to interrupt.
It's a controversial content. Our content is controversial. That was Blog Talk too. They demonetized us, and they said due to the controversial content that we present, their advertisers don't want to be presented on our stuff, so they have to demonetize us. And that's what happened. And we were making $1,200 a month with all of our monetization. Yeah, it's all gone. No more $1,200 a month. And then our donations. Those people, the co-opters, have been going to our GoFundMe campaigns and intimidating our donors, because they when a person donates, you can see who the person was who donated. Mm-hmm. They go to them, find them on Facebook, and start intimidating, because they've come to me in the inbox saying, "Tony, you got to do something. People are coming at me because I donated to you." So then they started drying up our donations because of that kind of thing, So from all the 2 years and me setting this thing up and being successful in it, it's gotten me demonetized and all that stuff happened to us and whatnot. So
that, what, when I hear all these YouTubes and just whatever social media that's out there, and I hear that this site or this person or this show or whatever got demonetized. The biggest question is, and I have people that I know that talk directly to Facebook. I have people that I know that talk directly to YouTube. I got people that talk directly to, like me. What is that? Goober? Darn it. Grubhub.
Oh yeah,
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 and
yeah.
stuff
I
like
know
that.
that. Yeah.
Because when and I want to hear from the horse's mouth what was it exactly that triggered you? Is it the algorithms? Because I hear it's the algorithms as well. So
I'm not. Excuse me. I'm
good.
not entirely sure as far as
No, I don't
what
think anybody
did
is.
it.
That's my point. I don't think anybody is, dude.
Oh,
You know what I mean? That's the sad part about it is they just fucking do it. Nobody
yeah,
they give you the vague answer to you that you gave us, but they
yeah,
don't explain it more thoroughly, which is sad.
yeah.
Oh, by the way,
And
I Facebook. By
their
the way, I
thing is
Facebook.
we have to take them to court. They say you signed this information when you set up your account, and then you go back to the thing you signed 10 years ago. Oh, Jesus Christ, I did sign that.
Right.
um, and they say you signed this, so you have to take us to court. So instead of them being liable, they make us have to hold them accountable instead of them being self-accountable. Because as a utility, utilities are required by law to be self-accountable, and regulate themselves.
Mm.
And that's what Facebook and all these companies are really utilities, but they are acting as they are private entities. When they're doing a public thing, they're doing exactly what the Federal Reserve does. That's what Facebook and Google are doing. They are public entities, but they act as a private entity. Now, the Fed is actually a private entity, but it acts as both private and public. That's the same thing Google and Facebook are doing, and that's why it's hard to fight them because they put it in your court, and we don't have money to fight their lawyers. And then what their lawyers are going to do, because I went to small claims court with Blog Talk for them trying to demonetize me, and all they do is continuances. They can't keep spending money with this lawyer. $2,000 every time I have to go to court. I can't afford that. And that's what they
Crazy.
do. They just continue it.
It's ridiculous. There's a comment from Rosenfeld 10, who this guy's really sharp, by the way. He put some great comments in there, like everybody else. But Rosenfeld 10's got some really good comments. He put this comment in. You got to hear this. Roosevelt said, Democratic nominees are said to be corrupted. If not now, then eventually because of the party. Greens aren't exempt from that. The deep state corrupts or ends everybody. I mean, that is the biggest. That's what you're hearing now is what he's saying is that does it fucking matter anymore, man? How many parties or what parties in there? Because you guys are going to probably at some point take a donation, get some grease and, slip something in your pockets. You see what I'm saying?
That's when integrity and character and honor
Yeah.
and self-respect comes into play. If you don't have any of those, in my view, you're not a man.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't have any integrity about yourself, honor, self-respect, respect for your neighbor, to speak truth to your neighbor, if you don't have any of those attributes about yourself, why the hell are you trying to do public service?
Exactly.
We need to marginalize those people or root those people out. This is the problem. People don't want to. They're scared. Oh, I don't want to rock the boat. Rock it, because if you don't rock the boat, this asshole is going to take over the boat and kick you out.
Shake that fucking boat, man. Just rattle it, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, by the way, we're on. I opened up to open discussion. I still got you up there, questions and answers with Tony. So if somebody has a question. By the way, we have people that come on from Zofox and a few. They're from like Switzerland or Norway. I've got Ryan Bannock here from Australia, right there, like next to Melbourne. I've got people that come on from all over the country, parts of Canada come on here. So you might get a question here. Now we're just talking. Now we're just talking. I
Sure.
was going to stop the show and start over, but it seems like you're so on board and so real, even though I can't see you. But uh, but
Well,
you're
I'm
speaking the same
I'm
language.
gonna
You're
open
speaking the
up
same
in that
language.
regard as far as visual. Eventually,
Yeah.
I am, because I got a lot of people in the party. They're like, Tony, you're so cool, man. You should just let people see you. Blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. They'll still listen to you even if they get to see you or whatever. So I'm opening up to that. So I'll eventually, when we move this network a little bit more, when we get that 24-hour loop, I'll start doing my shows with visual and audio, so I will do that eventually. I'm just trying to build up the network,
Okay.
in the next year or so. I'll say this on your show. I will start doing visual broadcasts within the next year. So within the year of 2018, maybe around election time, you'll start seeing me do visual broadcast as well as audio. So just to let all your listening audience know, and the listeners from my show who are listening as well. So yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay. So I'm going to throw this at you. You're going to do a 24-hour loop. If you ever need any help with somebody to help you, because you can't fucking talk the whole time unless you're a superhuman.
Well, no,
We got
no, we
people
have a
here.
bunch of different shows that I just got to get everybody on board. But we've got, like, I don't know if you know who Deb Della Piana is. She does Shut the Fuck Up. She does that show. She does the Daily
Yeah, I
Dose
heard that.
show.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I
Yeah,
absolutely love her.
Shut the
yeah,
fuck
she's awesome.
up.
Hi,
And
Tony.
we carry her show. Also, Holly Seelinger, we carry her show when she does her YouTube videos. We live stream hers. Um, Paul Jones, we live stream his stuff too, but lately he hasn't been having many live streams. I think Michelangelo has been down for a while, but we live stream his stuff. I mean, who else? Just there's a lot of people we do, and then I've got like 5, 6, 7 shows that that we do, like the Green Room, the State of the Green Union, Meet the Left, Painted Green. Conspiracy Reality, the War Report. So we got a slew of shows, and we got enough shows that we can run a different show every 45 minutes. So you'll get 45 minutes of a show,
Of content.
then you'll get 15 minutes of the advertising and fundraising, and then you got another show after that that's coming on. So you got the Green Room on at 6 a.m. Then you got 15 minutes of advertising, and then after that you got Deb Della Piana on for 45 minutes. Then the advertising. Then you got Holly on after that. So we've got enough shows and enough content to where we can run a 24-hour loop with all of those shows. So I won't have to be live per se. I can do the shows live if they want to hear, but then I'm going to rebroadcast them on a 24-hour loop live. So while that 24-hour loop is going, I'm doing another show, or I'm finding Deb's show for tomorrow and I'm putting that on the loop. So that's pretty much how it'll work.
That sounds fantastic. Here's what's
And
really cool about your idea is that it sounds like something that we really fucking need.
We do.
No.
On the left, we don't have that.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, I'm just throwing this out here. Monotalk and the team on here, we would be happy to do what we could to fill a spot if you ever need it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would definitely take your show and broadcast it live without a doubt. That's what I'm saying with the whole socialism thing, because I know people think that's a dirty word, but this is socialism what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I'm not. There's no big I's and little U's, and that's what makes me love you guys and want to work with people, because I know you guys feel the same way. You're not going to try to overpower me, just like I'm not going to try to overpower you. And when revenue starts to come in, it's not, oh, I need this. The money, when the money starts coming in, there's not going to be any need for anybody to be, oh, I'm not getting this, or I'm not getting that. Everybody's going to get their fair share. And
we should
be putting it right back into the show anyways, at the same time.
Yeah, if we do it right, and if we help each other, guess what happens? All of a sudden you've got single parent. All of a sudden you have better wages. All of a sudden you've got infrastructure. All of a sudden there's less war. All of a sudden people are traveling more. There's less borders. Everything just fucking fixes itself. But you've got to
and all of a sudden we don't need any revenue for media anymore because we've got all these media outlets running 24-hour loops on their media, and everybody's in cohesion, but just because we're all on the same thing, we're all individuals as well. So we can, this is where I'm saying we got to get to. You got to be able to buck that guy. If Tony Smith, I love Tony Smith. He's so cool. He's become one of my best friends. Well, if he starts lying, you better get in his ass and let him know, hey, look here. You're a liar.
Literally.
You just lied in that broadcast, brother. And I better get my ass on the air and say, American people, I'm very sorry. I did exaggerate there and lie. I do apologize. That will never happen again. And I hope you continue to listen in, and I hope you continue to understand that we are credible. I just had a brain fart that moment. I do apologize. And we need that. If we don't have that, then we might as well just not do it anymore.
There should be the segment after each show just to retract or anything that's called the brain fart list at the end of the show.
Oh, great idea.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the show, we'll put the date and time. Jim said this, or Tony said this, or something like that. And this is the brain fart.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would, dude.
Ryan
That'd be so
to say
cool.
Something real quick. Go ahead, Ryan.
Go ahead.
You could do an epics fail video.
You're kind of low. Sorry, you're kind of low, bro.
All right, I'll come back. I'll fix it up.
No, he's got a brand new mic. He's kind of getting it. Is that a new mic?
Oh yeah.
No. I'm using my old mic, but I'll fix it.
But it looks cool. Does anybody?
I like when you get new mics. It's fun when you get new mics. You'll get I don't know. I like when I get new equipment and stuff and working with it.
Rebel, do you have any questions? You had a comment. You want him to come to your state or something?
Yeah, please. We got lazy fucks here, and it's like, I mean, no matter how much the small group of us that are, we're fighting, and we just need more people to light fire under our houses, God, you are like, I hope this is appropriate to say, but I adore you because you speak the language. You're a fighter, you're a warrior, you're a rebel. You don't mince words.
He sounds pretty genuine to me. The guy's been a fucking Green Party member for how long? 16 years?
21.
Sorry, 21. I'm off by 5, but still, that's a lot.
When I was 20 was the first time. I'm 41 now, and I was 20 when the first time I voted for the Greens.
Wow, he's been there.
Wow.
This guy's been in the trenches. Imagine how it's felt for him every single election cycle.
Yeah.
And still, and still be there. That I don't know if anybody ever comprehends that, but that's huge. So when I hear about these people that have been in Greens for a long, long time, and then I hear other people say, well, they've been there, they're bureaucratic, and they slow shit down a lot. I hear a lot of crap, but then you have to say, but they've been in the fight. They didn't give up. They didn't jump ship. They knew where they needed to be.
I'm doing this for my grandkids and their grandkids. Their grandkids need a Green Party to vote for, and I'll be goddamn if we don't have one for them.
Right.
That's what I do this for. Is for my grandkids.
Jesus.
I have 5.
I hear you. I'm doing them for your grandkids too.
Thank you. I'll do it for yours.
Okay, so Snork,
Thank you.
just to let you know, Tony, we have Snork, aka he's an engineering guru. I like to say his work with NASA. He always says no, but I think secretly he does. But he knows
He was in
this guy
NASA's
he's a plethora.
secret
Am I right?
program.
But is he a plethora of information? Like every once in a while, we'll start saying something, and he'll come and go. By the way, guys, just letting you know that and next thing you know, we just like I feel stupid. But he doesn't do it
Yeah,
intentionally.
that's like Christian. Our guy Christian. He's got that computer brain too. So I know what you're saying.
What do you got going on there, Snork? How are things with you, bro?
Oh, all right. Been cleaning today, so I've getting ready for my summer planting, which you can see an egg carton behind me. It's going to be radishes.
You have an excellent radio voice.
That's
Just
what I
to
was
let
saying.
you know.
Everybody tells him that.
I'm from Iowa. I'm from the city that most news broadcasters try to emulate for an accent. So I guess I have the natural radio voice. I lost my question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know what I was going to get at. Civil forfeiture is getting really out of control. Cops are using it to fund.
Oh God, yes.
Using it to break down any attempts from anybody who doesn't like. I mean, they come in, take your whole house, take anything you're doing.
Fucked up.
So you really don't own anything if they have the ability to do that. And exactly. I really believe the security about our papers and undue seizures from the Constitution already cover that.
Yeah, it does. This intra commerce. They've been fighting that in the courts because the government feels like that they have the power to seize anything at any time if it's for the good of the government or what have you. And they've been doing, fighting for years and years and years over that. And they are pushing it off to the police now since the Patriot Act and all of that stuff, so that they can set a precedence through the police to be able that the government, if they get the people used to the police searching and seizing your property, with no due process, then eventually the government will be able to do it. And in my view, that's where we would have to push against that is through that constitutional clause about either inter or intrastate commerce.
We can't make that mistake of blending the two together. The intrastate commerce is public domain.
Yes.
The other one, the one the police are using, is called civil forfeiture. Public domain is covered in the Constitution. Civil forfeiture
is not
in it. So the civil forfeiture is where the cops come up and say no due process. That's civil forfeiture, and take it. I remember a long time ago, this has been for years, that somebody bought a yacht that was taken in a drug bust. He paid $50,000 for it. As soon as he handed him the cash, they walked over, took a swab off the seat. He hadn't even taken possession of it yet. They said, your boat has cocaine on it. We're civil forfeiting it. They just took his $50,000. They had no intent of ever giving him the boat.
Wow.
And situations like, you come in, take parts of your house, whatever. I personally am still a Democrat. Where I'm at, I don't see the Greens having any chance, and that my best chance here is as a Democrat to try to guide my small county to at least prevent another fraud. And so I'm going to be pushing here, and I want government to be good. I want good candidates from every party. And I would like to see every party have making civil forfeiture a felony or a new class of crime equal to treason, where it is an executable offense if they attempt to do civil forfeiture without due process, because it angers the people against the against the government. And I believe we need to get the government to being working for us, and we can't do that if we have civil forfeiture.
Right. No, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, and that is a big thing. And not enough people know about it or what have you. For it even, I mean, they do know about it, but it's that fear, if I say something, more, something else is going to happen or what have you. And a lot of people are embarrassed by it too. It's another thing that's keeping people from coming forward with it. But what you're saying, I totally agree. And I think that we do need to have that in all parties. But as far as like the comment, as far as like the Democrat, and I respect you being a Democrat, but the Green Party cannot grow if people continue to support the duopoly. It is the duopoly why there is civil forfeiture. If there were any candidates, because you know good as I do, and we learned this from use the 2016 election as your guide to where to go from here, because when the 2016 election, all progressive candidates were primary. Perfect example, Tim Canova in Florida. Progressive, had the support of the Burners, had the support of Bernie Sanders initially. But then when he needed Bernie bailed on him. So the Democrats have an identity issue, and they are not addressing it. So I don't believe that you will get anything from the Democrats. Now, I don't know about your town. Maybe locally the Democrats will fight for fighting civil forfeiture. They may. I'm not sure. I don't know how the local system works in your area. But when we say the Green Party has no chance, that's not accurate, because everyone has a chance if they're doing something. So that's some stuff that we take from the MSM propaganda machine. Just like, for instance, Greens can't win. Who said that? The MSM. Ralph Nader stole the votes from Gore and made Bush win. That's a lie. That's not right. That is propaganda. What really happened is that Gore didn't even win his home state. So it was Gore who lost the election, and Bush stole it from his brother in Florida with the recount and had the Supreme Court, which was a precedent that was set. So it was a stolen election. So as a Democrat, what I would ask from the Democrats is to stop using us as scapegoats. Own your bullshit, and we as Greens will do our best to come up and show the Democrats, hey, Democrats, this is how you do it. So at the end, and then this is it, and I'm done. I'm sorry, I'm long-winded, so forgive me.
No.
And there's nothing against you personally. I'm just saying, as Democrats, if you guys can just say, focus on your party and getting your party to, go the right way, that's good. What happens is Democrats always say Greens can't do anything. That's not true.
Yeah,
Greens can. We just need the people to stand up for them. That's all.
He's
I'm
not
not
talking
saying
about
that.
you personally. By the way, real quick.
No, I know it's
I'll
not
be back.
personal. I know I'm not saying it's personal from me coming to him. I'm saying that in a generalization, for Democrats versus Greens.
I was
So I'm
about
not him
guys.
personally.
I was about 5 years behind everybody else. What would help Iowa be green more than anything else? If other states were, and we tend to be kind of slow to change. And right now, we're kind of at a dearth of candidates. But I am not one that goes. In fact, I go to the meetings and I constantly say that the Democratic Party has no hope until they get honest about what happened in 2016. And I'll say that right in their meetings.
They need it. Somebody needs, if they're going to be, if anybody's going to be a Democrat, somebody needs to stand up and say something about them. Now, me, I'm personally am like, fuck the Democrats, excuse my language, but that's what I'm like, and I'm not dealing with them. So Democrats, do your thing. Greens, we need to stand up and stop being afraid of the Democrats and stop saying, well, they're right, so I'll just go ahead and go Democrat. No, if you're green, stay green and vote green. I've been doing it 20 years. And I'll tell you, in the 90s, I about gave up. But when the 2000s hit and Ralph Nader got that 2.8 million, that gave me hope. You know, when the cop thing happened, then we got discouraged. But then Cynthia McKinney came. She demexited and became, which I didn't like that she demexited and became the presidential nominee. But at the same time, she was very inspiring. She was against the Iraq War. They gerrymandered her out of Congress. She came to the Green Party, something that Dennis Kucinich should have did, but he didn't. And now is running for governor as a Democrat against our candidate, Constance Goodell Newton, who has a great chance of winning the governorship in Ohio. But what happens? Democrats are working against Greens. I mean, that's just the facts.
I wish they would team up. Probably on a green ticket or something. That would be awesome. But I wanted to say, like, I think the Republicans all out of nowhere pulled out this Tea Party business. I don't know if it's out of nowhere, but it's basically, it blew up all of a sudden. They even had their own flag, right? It's like being disgruntled with the party, not liking what it's about, what it's doing, or how it's going, and then kind of moving off to I guess a further right. I mean, I personally don't believe Donald Trump would be president without the Tea Party movement and whatever that was for those years. I don't think he would. I mean, I think that influenced the political landscape and got him in a big way. But the Democrats, they don't have anything as loud as that or as public as that Tea Party that the Republicans had. Although there's a lot of Democrats that are displeased and stuff. And I mean, I believe, fuck the Democrats too. And I think that's good passion and that's great. But at the same time, we got to try to get them, like you were just saying, we got to try to get them over to the Greens or away from that party to realize the crap, in the party. And so maybe just saying F the Democrats isn't always like the way to get them to talk to you or listen or something, like, because they need to listen.
Yeah, no, I totally understand where you're coming from. But what I do personally, I leave that to the non-partisans. I'm a partisan. I am for the Greens who are hardcore. And if you're a hardcore Green, you can ride with me. I'm not for, trying to iron out things with Democrats. Democrats don't try to iron things out with Republicans, They stand, you've seen that at the State of the Union. So I'm that green. I am a partisan, extreme partisan, and I bleed green. You cut my arm, green blood comes out. That's where I am. So I do understand where you're coming from as far as maybe I shouldn't be so harsh or so closed to Democrats. But Democrats have been so closed to me for 21 years. I built the callus. So I deal with the Greens. I rally for the Greens. I am passionate for the Greens. The Democrats need someone like that. They had someone, Bernie Sanders. What did they do to him? So that's where I am. That's why I choose not to associate with Democrats. And if a Democrat were to come to me and say, support this person, I'll say, no. You're not worth it. Your party is shit, and it's not worth a damn or a vote. And that's how I feel about it, because nobody in their party is standing up for what do they do? Marginalize the progressives. You know why there's not a Tea Party in the Democrat Party? Is because they co-opt them. They have an oligarch named George Soros. Now, whether you want to believe that's propaganda, right-wing propaganda, or not, I believe it because I research. I'm like, let's see what these Republicans are talking about. Okay, George Soros. Holy shit, he's involved in this this organization. Holy shit, his money went through this organization and ended up in this organization's hand. Holy shit. So you guys got an oligarch to deal with. We don't have an oligarch to deal with. So that's why I'm like, fuck you Democrats, man. Get your ass in this Green Party and help us get rid of these co-opters before there's an oligarch in this party. Or you Democrats go to your oligarch and get his ass out of your party. You know what I mean? I don't think Democrats should try to tell Greens what to do in the position that they're in. If anything, you need to listen to us for a change, because we've been on the right side of history since 1984.
No shit.
And that's my view. You know, so to answer your question again, I'm long-winded, but to answer your question, my brother, I'm partisan, and I don't hide that fact. I don't, maybe I'm wrong. I may be wrong in being partisan in that fashion, but that is the route that my heart has taken me, and that's where I'm going to stay.
Well,
I need to ask a really quick question for Tony. When people try to click on your link to go to the Patreon account page, it says that this page has been removed for not complying with community guidelines. Is there a different one?
No, Patreon kicked me off of their whole thing because of our content. And if you listen to it, it's reality. You know, I source everything. When I'm saying something, I'm reading, and basically they did what all of them did. PayPal tried to get rid of us too, but our listeners, I don't know what they did, but they got them to reinstate our account. But Patreon, they just kicked us off because of the nature of the content. They said it's controversial and they can't monetize that controversial content.
Okay,
I'm like, well, shit, it might as well be porn, because I mean, so that's the situation with the Patreon. But the best thing to do really to donate at this point, unfortunately, is the GoFundMe account. And if you put if you Google Green News Network, either GNN monthly costs or Green News Network monthly costs, you'll see the GoFundMe account. And then that's the best way to donate, because at this point, I don't know what PayPal is going to do. I don't know if they'll keep the money or what. So I haven't been dealing with them, and they took away all of our others. Like we had CrowdPack that got taken away. So they are actively, and I don't know who they are, but whoever's watching or listening, they've been actively hurting us bad on the monetization side. But as far as our listenership, that's gone down because of the censorship, which is why I'm trying to push this 24-hour loop and to get past the censorship. So that's the situation with the Patreon. We just got kicked off of it because of the content.
Okay, just wanted to make sure it wasn't because we had a different URL.
The URL was, no, okay. It's we got kicked off, unfortunately.
Okay, sorry about that, and thank you. Go ahead.
In the last election, I voted for Stein because I thought she was the only reasonable candidate. I really don't vote by what the party is. I look at the person, and I could not see anybody else at her level.
Right.
That was, within line. I would vote for Greens if there were more. And I'm not just saying that my state has like a political inertia, and there's only like 3 Greens in my congressional district. And the one that is running for Congress is not going to be eligible to serve in Congress.
Right.
So I know little choice. So
right.
my best thing is to try to at least make a statement, because I'm on the platform committee.
Right. I understand, and I totally understand where you're coming from, and I'm not against that. You know, the situation is for the individual. You know, I would, if I were in your situation, I would start a green party in your place, and I would go door to door. But I mean, but if when something's already established, we go with it and we try to make our mark with what's established. And I totally understand that. And you know, I applaud you for even getting involved, even being in it. You know, so it's nothing to you personal, and I know you'd vote for a green if there was more, and a lot of people would, and that's where but we have had 879% growth in candidates in the last 2 years. So we are getting more candidates standing up. We have a party in like almost every county, because I got a group called Green Party Facebook Connection Group, and it connects every Facebook Green Party Facebook page and every Green Party Facebook group for all the counties or what have you. So I've seen almost all the counties in the country, and the Green Party has one in almost every county. I don't know if they have one in yours, but we need people to just give up that duopoly and, you know, just step out. I took a leap of faith. I wanted to vote for Ross Perot, but I wasn't old enough yet when he ran. And he taught me that I don't have to go to the Democrat or the Republican. And I didn't, you know, I haven't. If I just abstained from voting rather than give the duopoly my vote. We don't have, and I'm in the 7th district of Indiana. I'm running for the 7th district of Indiana in 2024 if we don't have a green candidate, because I'm going to step out there and be a candidate if nobody else will do it. And so we don't have a green in the 7th district. We have a Republican and a Democrat. So I abstain from voting for the House, any local. If there's a green, and then I bet the green because I know that they're co-opters. So I bet the green. Oh, they're a good green. You follow the 10 pillars? Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, I'm going to vote for this green. You know, so when you get your ballot, vet the candidates. I personally wouldn't. What we need to do is let these Democrats know, my view is let these Democrats know you've lost the people. So the only way to really let them know is to leave their party. That is the only way. Obviously, yelling at them and getting lawsuits against them isn't working. They have not learned. They still have Nancy Pelosi as their leader. They still have Chuck Schumer as their leader. The only way to get these Democrats to understand is to leave their party. You can't co-opt we can't fix it from within because they set the party up to quail uprisings. The Republicans aren't set up that way. They're more grassroots than the Democrats. The Democrats are more corporate. And that's an oxymoron, isn't it? A corporate Democrat, that shouldn't be, should it? But they are. They're more corporate than the Republicans. So that's why Donald Trump was able to get in with the Republicans, because they don't have the mechanisms of co-opting in place as the Democrats do with the super delegates, you know, all that kind of stuff. So there's no way to fix it from within. You know how many progressive uprisings there have been? Many. The Kucinich, Jesse Jackson, I mean, it goes on and on and on. These are so-called progressive uprisings. But what happened? The corporate person always won out, didn't they? So the only way is to leave, come to the Greens, help us grow, help us get candidates in Iowa, help us get voters in Iowa. Do you know what I do? I go out into my neighborhood and I knock on each and every door. If anything, now I know all my neighbors. If anything, the least. Now I know all my neighbors and they all know I'm a green. Now I just promoted the Green Party. Now everybody knows Tony Smith that stays down the street from me, he's a Green. If I wasn't here, then it'd be Democrats and Republicans. So, and then you just go. That's just what you do. You just go out. If you got a petition or something, use that to, I just go knock on doors. Hey, man, you into politics? Oh, yeah, I hate Trump. Oh, yeah, why? And then just start talking. And then they, my friend over in blah, 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 he likes the Greens, blah, and I go over there. It's networking. And that's what we got to do. We have to network locally and just take some time out of your day. I know we work, everything, but take some time out of your day. Take 2 hours to yourself, whatever you go. If you're going to smoke, drink, and, get all drunk, don't do that. Instead of that, go out and talk to your neighbors about the Green Party and tell them that, hey, man, if you don't like Trump, we have a Green Party that we want to get to kick his ass out. We got to do that kind of stuff. So I'm sorry to take over. I'm just very passionate about this. And I know if people would just let go of that duopoly, we can change the world. I swear we can do it.
Well, if you could win just 10 races in California, I think that would be the tipping point where we could have some real influence here. Also, Jesse Ventura, about 10 years ago, was elected governor of Minnesota. That's how unjudged Minnesota is. So these states would all probably seriously let another party in. If you just win 10 or so races in California, because think about it, when California started getting their hair longer in the 60s, 5 or 6 years later, Iowans did.
Yeah.
So
where California goes, the rest of the country goes, honestly.
Right. So that is probably what's the necessary impetus. Get going out there. Because and then once the next thing that'll probably happen is the university cities in Iowa will flip. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Des Moines, 200,000 voters. Waterloo, or Cedar Falls area, 140,000 voters. Iowa City, another major college, another 200,000 voters. Davenport, 200,000 voters. So it's where all the colleges are. That's all you have to flip. There's hardly any people in the rural areas.
Right. Right.
So you've got to make a future for the children, because they're over the majority of the vote here that will not even consider Republican or Democratic Party. You're staying home. If we can give them a really good shot at fixing it for their lifetime, they will come out in droves. And the next president, if it's between Democratic Party and Republican Party, is probably going to win the presidency with 25% of the vote or less.
Yes.
Or 25% of the eligible voters. So all you need to get is 30% out. You don't need to get 100%. You don't need to get 50. You might not even need to get 30.
Right. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So realistically, everybody's looking at Jill Stein like, oh, you lost. You're 100% behind everybody. No. Jill Stein, a little bit under 20% behind what she needs.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. You're absolutely right.
Okay, Tony, is it GNN Radio? Is that yours?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's
where are you?
www.gnnradio.org.
No, I don't. It may be. Oh, yeah, it may be, but I think that's maybe an old website.
Well, what was the radio station you were talking about?
It's on Blog Talk. It's www. All you Google the Green News Network, and you'll get all the stuff.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Go ahead.
You're absolutely right, though, brother. And that's what my focus is to the two candidates in the Green Party who has a chance is Constance Goodell Newton in Ohio. She is running for governor. All she needs to get is between 27 and 31% of the vote there, and she can become governor because of how their system is or what have you. So she has a great chance to become governor, and she needs to be pushed in Ohio. And Ohio is another disheveled state that Trump won because the Democrats don't have anybody, so they're open to third parties. And in Ohio, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
In Ohio, it was a steel state. I used to go to large manufacturing operations. I spoke with a lot of people. There was no way that people could consciously vote for Hillary after what the Clintons did to them in the 90s.
And that's what Joe Manchin was saying too. He was saying that was the sentiment in that state, which is why it's ripe for third parties to emerge from there.
Right.
So yeah.
If you can present,
I didn't know they were a steel state. That's pretty interesting that it used to be a steel state.
Well, they used steel. They didn't make it. Well, actually,
okay.
They had big steel making facilities, but the major part of it was the car industry, and all the little towns had other feeder plants to the car industry.
Oh yeah, for like the parts and that sort of thing. Yeah.
So, well, for every car, there's 27,000 facilities that feed it.
Man, and they just ate that whole place up. God.
Obama gave away the 27,000 to save the one.
Oh my God.
So big mistake. People that are in manufacturing felt disenfranchised, feel that neither of the two parties can do anything to them. Even if you can't get in as a candidate, you could push the Democratic Party to get a candidate that's not as bad. So I don't think I'm violating anything by saying make sure that you include the people. And there are many ways to be green and to get manufacturing back on track. Building a factory doesn't mean you have to pollute. In fact, building factories to fight pollution, making green factories, not having to transport stuff across an ocean and making are green things. So the way that you present to the people are, think of 7 factors that are necessary for people's life. They have to have the body has to be taken care of. They have to be able to eat, get medicine, whatever. They need to be able to work to acquire things. They need to be able to interact with other people. And you sit down and you take a look at all of the major factors of the people, and you say, what can we do to present a plan for to get back on track, and that getting back on track will be sustainable. And I don't care whether your party goes or not, just having that thrust will bring back the other parties to at least be a little bit more reasonable, especially if they Gadilia. Sorry, I saw a message from James. I couldn't understand it. Got me off track of thinking. But yes, everything helps if you can push for what will make the planet livable for the next 100 years.
Yeah, that's the whole platform of the Green Party. Is the motto is people and planet over profit and poverty. And the people and planet is through. Do you know that recycling, it's profitable? The more you don't pollute, the more profitable your business is. And there's extra profit in recycling. Like, you can get paid to recycle. So these companies who are bypassing recycling and bypassing going green, they're missing out on revenue. And they're so too stupid to see the forest for the trees, because they want, like you said, people change is hard, and people are more pragmatic than revolutionary. And go
I'll
ahead.
give you
Go ahead.
a clue on the recycling. We're running out of the world's stores of gallium necessary for manufacturing electronics.
Right.
And it's getting to the point where there's a higher concentration in our old garbage dumps of gallium than there is out in the world.
Yeah.
So we need to go back and recycle that and go ahead, Rebel. I'm sorry.
Okay, just real quick. What is the spelling of that woman's name in Ohio? Tony, I'm sorry.
Oh, what? Say
The woman's name that you were talking about in Ohio?
Oh, Constance Goodell Newton.
How do you spell the Goodell?
CONSTANCE Goodell GADELL hyphen Newton NEWTON.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Smart.
Not a problem.
Oh, I think I was pretty much done there.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
just
no,
need to get all this information down and.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, though. I mean, with the recycling, there are actually businesses, because there's a business called Ketter Environmental here, who I'm trying to get to advertise with us, because we want to get advertising from green businesses that people can use in their everyday life. And this Ketter Environmental takes your trash and they go separate it and get money from the separations off the recycling of it. They started out with malls, because malls are notorious for just throwing everything. So they handle all the malls, and then the trash people got wind of, they're taking their business, this Ketter. So then Republic, which is a trash company, and Waste Management, they both have now implemented plans to do what Ketter is doing for all of their trash when they get trash. So they don't just dump it in the trash heaps anymore. They're doing what Ketter is doing and recycling and getting paid for it. And they didn't see that before. So there are companies springing up that are helping with that, what you were saying with the landfills, because they see the profitability. There's profit in trash. One man's trash is another man's treasure, and that's what these companies are seeing. I just hope it grows, and I don't know. I don't know how to get this green message out, because if people would just research the Green Party, it's everything. It just needs good people in it. Right now, the majority of the Green Party is getting a little more diverse, but it's the people from the 60s who started it in '84. Because of the Reagan Revolution and all that, they started the Green Party, and those people are still in control. Well, not control, but in influence, because they built it grassroots, so there's no way for anybody to control it, but you can control, like, the steering committee. They control the day-to-day operations. So you can get people in place and control that. You can control the National Committee, which is the legislative arm of the Green Party. And through the National Committee, that's how bylaws get passed in the Green Party. And then the bylaws go down to all the state and local parties or what have you. So you can control those two arms, as well as the Media Committee, and control those arms and control the Green Party. But you can't control it how the Democrats control it, because there's no money involved, because you can't take corporate donations. So that's why we need to get good people. Like, there are good people in the Democrat Party. We need to get them over to the Greens and get rid of the people who have been influencing the party, because obviously they don't know how to grow the party, because we only had 1.4 million votes after having 2.8 in 2000. 16 years passed and we went backwards, not forwards. So we need to get rid of the people who are influenced, because there are people like me who want to market the Green Party better, who want to be passionate. People want to make songs. It's people with memes, everything.
Whatever it's called, after the loss, like after that kind of, because that was such an important time, and it still is such an important time for people to go to a third party. In 2016, I looked at that as the pivotal time for a third party, something to emerge. And since nothing emerged, I was hoping it would be Jill Stein, but it was honestly a failure, given that, there's such I guess there's high stakes pressure. People were voting against the other guy, right? And
yeah.
But at the same time, like, it was such an opportunity, and it still is going to be an opportunity, because it's going to be the same thing as it was in 2016 and 2020. It's going to be Donald Trump versus a terrible Democratic choice, a terrible Democratic candidate. And so it's like, but then they got that thing in the bank where they got in the back pocket where they're like, well, we can just scare tactic everyone about Trump, and all across the election, all across the country is just going to be about how scary Donald Trump is. Vote Democrat, and the mainstream media and the celebrities and the whole show basically informs everyone of what to think. And I don't know, it's so depressing.
The good thing that we've got going that we didn't have going for us in 2016 is that everybody knows about Bernie Sanders now. Now, before, Bernie Sanders, he had a good record, except for his war record. Everybody overlooked that, said, hey, you know what? He came out and said that he's going to tell the truth. So, we followed him all through the primary, which took up most of the general election season for the Green Party. So what we've got going for us in 2018 and in 2020 is time. We don't have to waste our time with Bernie Sanders anymore. We know what's going to happen. Just exactly what happened in 2016. So what we have going for us that we didn't have going for us in 2016 is time, and we have people with more experience in politics. Because before Bernie Sanders, there were, like the brother said, 25% of the population deciding elections. When Bernie Sanders came out, people who were demoralized, people started coming out. The younger people, the generation millennials and Generation Z people are coming out now, and they're more involved. And you can tell that through the statistics of sports and recreation. It is down over the past 10 years. Sports viewing, recreation, all of that. And people want to say that's because of Trump. No, that's because people aren't paying attention to sports and recreational things anymore. People are paying attention to politics now. Politics is the new WrestleMania, So this is what's going on. So we have a great opportunity in 2018 and in 2020 to get some good gains as far as the Green Party is concerned. But what we have to do is recognize that there is co-opting going on in the Green Party. Recognize that you're not leaving a crappy party and going to a completely clean party. You're leaving a controlled opposition to a non-controlled party that is being co-opted by the controlled opposition. That's what you're getting yourself into. But the bright side of it is to know is that the party is grassroots. I would not be a Green Party member if the party was not grassroots and there was not in the 10 principles, we can't take corporate donations. Those two things alone makes it very hard for someone to control the party as an individual. Like Hillary Clinton was able to control the DNC, literally control it by herself, an individual, control an entire party. That can't, and it's physically impossible for that to happen in the Green Party. And that's the only reason I'm with the Green Party. And if we get people to understand that, I swear to God, it'll just domino effect. Just.
But the other half of that is the media, and you got so much people out there with so much stigma about not going for the Hillary, or then not going for the Democrats, like that you're making Trump win that way. And I just feel like it's going to be difficult to get people to be like, oh, it's cool to like, just like it's normal for people being breaking off from the Democratic Party or whatever it is, or non-voters all of a sudden going to be voting for Green Party. And if just 2020 rolls around and most people are like, oh, who are you going to be voting for? I'm going to be voting Green. If people hear it enough, then you have people considering, oh, well, this might be actually something that works. So if you can just get enough Democrats to go Green or whatever, at a certain point, then I think the scales would tip to where people would consider it as a legitimate choice. And by doing that, I think it sells itself in the climate. But first step would be getting that to where it's popular enough and to where people aren't scared of being like shamed or something, like, oh, you're not PC justice warrior anymore, lose that or something.
Right.
This peer pressure at all ages.
Yes. I'm sorry, I drank some water and it went down the wrong pipe.
Damn it.
But you hit the nail on the head. The shaming, and the most people are politically motivated through their peers. Because meetings, that is a peer thing. So when you leave the peer group to go to another peer group, the peer group you left feels, I can't believe they left, and then you're ostracized, and nobody likes that feeling of being ostracized. And then when you get to your new peer group and they're not as organized or as you would think it should be, and then you feel demoralized in yourself, like, oh, I left my peer group, now I gotta go crawling back, and then you end up hating the group that you came at. That situation is something that we have to address, and what it is integrity. Do you have integrity about yourself? If you have integrity about yourself, then you have to believe in yourself and know that you're making the right decision when you go green. Do these values fit your values? Yes. Well, it's natural. Just do it. And there are greens, and this is another thing that's a problem. People don't think there are greens there waiting there for them. We're here for you, waiting on you guys. There's a meme out there called Democrat Refugees. It's got a guy standing up, pulling people off of a raft onto land, saying, come home to the Green Party. Now, I know me personally, I'm a partisan. So right now, I've been the most nonpartisan in my discussion about Democrats that I've ever been since the 2016 election. And if people just have to believe in themselves and know that there are people waiting for them when they come home. We're open arms. You just have to know what's going on. Like, what happens when people demexit, and I've been dealing with this. What happens when people demexit is they think they know something. You have to, when you change jobs, do you go into your job saying, oh, well, I got this experience from this other job? No, you have to learn what this new job entails. And that's what people don't do when they move to another party. They think they know what's going on, so then you piss off the people who's been doing this for 20 years.
Yes.
And you coming in thinking you know something.
Yes.
And now you got them pissed off at you. So now they're like, get your ass back in the Democrat Party. You can't be in our party. And then they're like, oh, no, don't mess with those Greens because they're so mean. No, we've just been marginalized for years, and you've been a Democrat asleep. You just waking up and you think you know something. You don't know. Come home. When the people demexit, you have to be humble. You have to come home and learn. Okay, what is this about?
The same reason I haven't been green for a long time is because they don't have a fighting chance. They don't have the numbers that makes them look like they're the formidable. Like I was just talking about, when people get that perception that like, okay, they really got a strong chance. There's so many people around me that I know, I've heard about that are supporting it. Then I think that will get people to like really think about. Otherwise, that old idea, you're throwing your vote away is what people say, and there's something to it. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I say, it's just people need the rebuttals of it. When somebody come at you, when someone says, "Hey, you're stealing vote away from the Democrat," who the hell is that Democrat that my vote is a theft from them? You got to earn my vote, Democrat. Who the hell are you? So your vote, that propaganda that they're stealing your vote, that's propaganda. And, you know, you just got to have the rebuttals. And I think that's what a lot of people lack when they say they're going to go third party. Then they say, oh, well, you're throwing away your vote. No, you're not. I'm throwing away my vote by voting for this Democrat I know that's going to go take this corporate money from Wall Street.
Oh.
That's throwing away your vote.
Oh,
I'm throwing away
Bravo.
I'm throwing away my conscience when I
Exactly. Throwing away your integrity, your character, your honor. You're throwing it away by voting for the Democrats.
I love your words. This is
wonderful.
Okay, I got a quick question for you. Sorry, were you talking? I'm sorry, Rebel. Sorry, I interrupted you. I apologize.
No, I had to take a big deep breath because it's like,
okay,
I don't think I'm gonna sleep tonight. You got me fired back up.
Get her all toggled.
Well, woot on that, because I stay fired up. I'm a human. What are those energy drinks? I'm a human energy drink. I only sleep 5 hours a day, and then I don't sleep. I'll fall asleep, and then I'll wake up in 5 hours. And then I'll do that for months, and then one day I'll just sleep for like 14 straight hours, and then I'm back to 5 hours again.
That's how
and it's been my whole life.
Yeah, Tony is the green bull, not the red bull. The green bull.
The green bull. Woot woot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let's
and that needs to be a meme. You know what I mean? And then we need somebody to come out with the green bull. You know, these things can be done, man. It's just we just got to stop being afraid. And let our inner out. This is the Green Party teach all this stuff, man. I'm telling you, it's just we got stupid people in influential positions. That's the only problem with the Green Party.
Okay,
here's the marginalization by the duopoly.
Hey, real quick, I got an interesting perspective. Gardner, who's in here a lot, the guy's just very knowledgeable. He's a critical thinker. He just, he should have his own freaking show. But I'm telling you right now he's saying what I think is kind of the biggest concern is a lot of people think that the Green Party is a protest vote.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, it is. It is a revolutionary party. It's a protest. Green is neutral. The color green is a neutral color. In war, green is what a caravan would put when they're going through a road. They will put it. It's not the white flag. That's surrender. The green flag is neutral, which means that if this convoy comes in, neither side who's fighting can deal with this convoy because they have that green on, which is why Gaddafi had the green flag, because he was a socialist or a neutral, and he made the man-made river. He was a green, and this is what the color green stands for. And people should know that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It has to be like how the Democrats got it. The Democrats, what do you think of a Democrat? Blue, right? What is the color blue? The blue color is soothing. It's you want to be around the color blue. The color red is danger. Red alert.
Robinson.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So that's why everybody stays away from Republicans and they feel comfortable with Democrats. But we need to start being neutral with the Green Party.
Okay.
with the
Can I say
green.
something real quick? Can I
Here's
say
the
something real
point
quick?
that
I want to
here's the
connect.
point that I think he's making, and this is a good point. Does your vote count? Does a protest vote really count to something? And I can kind of answer that, and I know Tony could probably help. But as soon as you get the right people in the right positions in the correct offices on the federal level, you're damn right it's going to count right now. And it's good that it's happening city, county, statewide, etc. But as soon as we get 1, 2, 3, however many greens in the federal level, that vote is going to count, and it is going to make a difference.
Right.
It's not just going to be a protest vote.
So I just want to say something. I want to connect the.
Well, my point. Excuse me. I'm sorry. My point with that, to piggyback off you, is that everything starts off as a protest. So your vote with the Green Party is a protest vote until that vote becomes a counted vote. You know what I'm saying?
You got to start somewhere.
Everybody. Yeah. So we should get people to understand. You're protesting the duopoly. You're protesting the Democrats by voting green. It is a protest vote. That's how we get stuff done. Protest. You know what I mean? So why I don't understand. I guess my point is I don't understand why is protest vote a bad thing. Why? It's a media made it that, in my view. So I don't understand what the thing is with the protest vote. I don't understand how that's a thing.
When I get approached by that and someone is snotty with me, I go, so fucking what?
Right. That's my personal.
Who are you to give a bad tone to your voice for my protest vote? You know, I mean, you're concocting that image up in your own head.
Yeah, I agree. Like, why are you mad because I'm voting this way? You know what I mean? And Greens don't get mad at Democrats for voting. Go ahead and vote Democrat. You can waste your vote. I'm not. This vote means something. Guess what? In my 21 years of voting, I have never voted for war. I voted for a Green. I never voted for Clinton. I never voted for Bernie Sanders. Ain't never sent us to war because he's never been president. I voted for Ron Paul. He never been president. He didn't send us to war. I didn't vote for Bush. The first president I was aware of was Ronald Reagan. Didn't vote for him. Didn't vote for the first Bush. Didn't vote for Clinton. Didn't vote for the second Bush. Didn't vote for Obama. So I've never voted for a war in my life. And what I could say about Democrats, if you've been a Democrat and voted for Obama or any of them, you voted for war.
Yeah.
But are you anti-war? How are you? You know what I'm saying? People need to look at that kind of stuff. And the Green Party is, if they're not anything else, they're anti-war. As soon as you get a Green in the presidency, we're shutting down every military base on the planet. I guarantee you they are. They want to cut the military budget in half. And it's I'll have to send out links on the detailed plans, but whoever came up with this war reduction plan, they are genius because they want to get rid of all the military bases. And the military bases in favorable countries or that represent the interests of America, they want to turn into like the UN's supposed to be, like peacekeeping missions where the troops go in and help build, homes and repair war-torn areas and, that kind of thing. They want to flip the military into a peacekeeping force instead of a war force. And they say if they do it that way, then we don't have to have a defensive military stance. Because if we're out helping, then there's no reason to have a defense at home because nobody's going to attack us if we're out helping and have an offensive military force throughout the world. But they want to minimize the bases to almost zero, but want to use some of them as those little checkpoints throughout the world for it's dude. The Green Party has I mean, they've been on the right side of history ever since I've been with them. And like, what's crazy is this stuff. It was like what we're dealing with now. The Green Party solutions was back in the 80s. You know what I mean? And it's just now within the last 10 and 15 years have we been talking about single payer. Green Party's had that since 1984. Basic income, a basic living wage. We just started talking about a living wage back in 2015 to $15. Green Party's had that since 1984. So all this stuff we talking about that Bernie brought up in the 2016 election, Green Party had that since 1984. So it's just now. You know, we were tree huggers back in the 80s, but now greens have become more mainstream. But people don't see that because of the mainstream media. And then that's another thing that's crazy. Why the hell are burners or anybody in the Democrat Party who supported Bernie Sanders believe the mainstream media? Like, how can a Bernie Sanders supporter believe in the Russian collusion thing? How can you be that? How? Your candidate was blacklisted by the MSM, and you've seen it and understood this. The media is blacklisting them. Screw the media. And then after he loses, then you go back to saying, "Oh yeah, Trump collusion." What the hell? It's crazy. You know what I mean? So, and that's another thing that's like blowing my mind. And this is why you get partisanship from me. You know, like if you go on Facebook, you'll see me post about you burners are retarded or you psychos, you know, because of this. You know, I went through the trenches with you and I don't believe the Russian collusion. How the hell can you believe it? You know, some burners don't even believe Hillary Clinton stole the election.
I know.
You know what in the hell?
Oh.
So that's another thing we have to overcome, stupidity, you know, and we need to push the fact that this mainstream media is nothing but a propaganda wing. And how you can do that, because people are like, well, how do I prove that the mainstream media is lying? All you have to do is get people to reference Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird is why we have 16 people controlling 6 corporations that control all the media in the United States. So all you got to do is tell the people about Operation Mockingbird. If they don't want to hear that, they're brainwashed by the mainstream media's MK Ultra.
Oh,
so they use that with the.
I do believe that there was Russian collusion and that Hillary would not have done as well if the Russians weren't helping her.
But where are the facts to back up that claim? Because there's no substantial evidence that says Russia did this. Because everything else says they did this, they did that, and then when you look up the collusion, it points to Hillary. Everything points to her with the uranium one.
That's what I just said. I said that Hillary would not have done as well if the Russians weren't helping her.
We're helping her. Well, they gave her money for her campaign. Yes. The Russians did. Yeah. They invested. Same with the Saudi Arabians. They invested in her campaign as well.
Right. I believe you mistakenly thought I meant Trump. No, I meant.
I thought you meant that there was Russian collusion with Trump. Yeah, there is Russian collusion with Hillary Clinton. And do you, as a Democrat, get backlash from other Democrats? Because
actually,
most Democrats push that narrative of the collusion.
Our meetings have fallen from 30 to 40 people to 5 to 6 people per month. And the people that actually go pretty much all believe that Hillary should be kicked out of the party.
Yeah, she should. And that would have been the best thing that would them to have done was got rid of Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, got rid of Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, got all those people out of power, and then then the 18 million people over the last 2 years. Counterpunch, I believe, is the website who cited this, but 18 million people have either gone independent or Green Party for the last 2 years, ever since the 2016 election.
And that
18 million.
Be a real underestimate.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought it was an underestimate because some people don't even report. They just do it. You know what I mean? So it's a great number, man, and it's the main thing in my view is pushback against the MSM. And from this conversation, I've learned some things because that's one thing about me. I'm humble and I'm willing to learn. I don't know everything, and I know that. And what I've found out about myself is when I find something out, I find out that I don't know shit. So I do have great knowledge, but I'm open to change and growth. So with that said, I will, from this point, I'm still going to be partisan green, but I will be more open to Democrats and what they have to say, for now on, as opposed to how I was before, because before this conversation, I would shut that Democrat down so bad, shut the fuck up, talk to me. You're a goddamn moron, and I don't know why the hell you even speaking to me. That's how I was before.
Okay, but Tony,
since
the
this
Green Bowl,
point,
sometimes you have to put your horns down a little bit to let people in.
Right.
Also,
right. So I did that, and I'm saying that I'm going to continue to practice that in the future, so I could be a more well-rounded person. You know what I'm saying? For the common good of the people. So I'm going to do that because from this conversation, I need to be a little more open to Democrats because I know that a lot of Democrats really want to come over, but, some need a little more calmer, but I look at it as an emergency. That's why you don't wake people up gently when there's an emergency. You're like, get your ass up, there's a fire, so that's how I've been. But I know that I need to be a little more gentler, and I'm going to practice that in the future. I just want to say that. Thank y'all for all of that, for that. Thank you for,
Go ahead,
helping me grow in that regard. So I appreciate that.
You're not only talking about this election, but those that you don't get involved this election, this is the time where you're also setting the stage for them to think about the next election.
Right.
So the time isn't wasted, even if you're not saying this election. You've waited 30 years, another 6 isn't that bad.
No crap. That's why I said at least when I get about 65, 70, if I live to be that, I'm like, if I get to see at least a Green in office in my lifetime, nothing I've done in my life has been in vain. So that's how I look at it. And if the party's still going on when I'm on my deathbed, I've done my part. The party's still living, so I've done my part.
Your part's not over.
So I totally agree.
Your part's not over, Tony. You got a long ways to go.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know I got a long ways to go. I'm still young.
You're just a kid to me. I'm
sure. I'm only in my 40s. I just hit 40. So.
Well, you sound very well-rounded. You sound very astute. You've got a lot of stuff going on. This has been a great interview. We're not only knowing more about Tony Smith and not just the website and all the things that you want to do. We're getting bits and pieces of information that I could use for those rebuttals. You know, in sales, you got to have
Right.
rebuttals. You know, so when
Right.
I'm trying to plug, you know, and sorry, I'm going to keep plugging away for the Green Party when somebody, well, that, it's just a protest. You guys don't have a snowball's chance in hell, you know, all this other stuff. And then when you say something that's so profound, like, I didn't vote for any wars for 16 years. I mean, think
Yep.
about that. That's heavy duty. I've killed people. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's huge. Does anybody else have any questions? Ryan, do you have a question? Your mic's, is your mic good? Ryan from Australia, Mr. Bannock. Oh, I think he's paused or something. But anyway,
Nope.
listen, you're welcome to stay. You can go. I'm just great. It's great that you're here. You're enlightening us. I will be going down at 11 though. I'm just letting you know, everybody. Just letting everybody know. It's been a long day. I worked hard on a Sunday, which sucks, but you know we got to make money. Because I got a question for you. What do you? I know that Tony. I have a quick question for you in regards to minimum wage. I know that the Democrats won't even go anywhere near it, and of course they're going to follow Bernie and at the last ditch effort go after 15 an hour, and then probably just give you like 12, 20. But I'm thinking that the Greens need to go higher, but not crazy. At 17. What do you think about that on minimum wage?
The Greens actually proposed $21.60, keeping up with inflation and cost of living.
Booyah! Because this is what's interesting about what people don't understand, and I think that's a good point. That's a good answer. Is that when you go in to negotiate to buy a car, it's called the first pencil. It's called the first when they first pencil you. So when they first pencil you for the car, they don't care how nice you've been, how wonderful you are, what a great customer you are, how good you smell. You know, you could be the best looking couple with all your kids and everything. They want to make money off of you. So their first pencil is probably going to shock you, right?
Yep.
And it's going to be something that you're not going to like. So there's where the negotiations. Here comes the rebuttals. Here comes the, you know. So if you start at 15, you'll end up at $12.20. If you start at 17 up to 20, in between there, around there, or 21, for God's sakes, you might hit 15. You see what I'm saying? So that's the best way to look at this. If $21 isn't shit, it should be at $21.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Because
take care of
$21 an hour will feed a family of 4, and they can take 2 trips a year with that income.
Exactly.
And that's all people want. Be able to take a couple family trips, not worry about their bills, you know, and eat out to dinner every once in a while.
The CEOs of these companies that when I hear Democrats and I call them Dumbocrats.
Right.
Okay? And I call them
I'm going to have to use that.
Repiglicans and Dumbocrats. And I'm not talking about the U.S.
Oh,
voter.
that's awesome. I'm sorry.
I'm not
Go
talking
ahead.
about the U.S. voter. I am strictly talking about the supposed leaders that we have. They're Republicans and they're Dumbocrats. So the thing is they don't see the value of having a higher wage. And you have these CEOs that would rather take all that money. I mean, why would you want a CEO that's making 500 times more than you are? I mean, think about that. Why wouldn't you want a CEO that's making 50 times more maybe? Or it's 20, 30 times more? But there's CEOs out there that got their positions because they knew somebody else or they were part of the family, and they're making these god-awful amounts of money while these other people, and everybody knows all the companies, Walmart, you know, just fucking Home Depot, name it, right? But the thing is those people need to be exiled. They need to go. And the only reason why they tell you not to vote for this, because they don't want to lose that income. They don't want to lose making, you know, $5 million a year when everybody's making minimum wage or less than minimum wage at some points. I mean, there's so many different reasons why we need a better minimum wage. There's just tons of reasons, but like I said, Citizens United, and I always say this, it's got to go. McCutcheon versus the FEC must go as well. And the only party
Green
that I know
Party,
that's going to
Green
do it and
Party
make it
fully
big.
supports that.
Yeah. So I
That's
got one
actually
last
the
question
first
for you.
thing they want to address is Citizens United and election fraud. As soon as the Greens get into office federally, that is the first piece of legislation they intend to bring up is they tend to bring up election fraud investigations in the subcommittees, and they intend to bring up the Citizens United. They try to overturn it.
Right. Yeah, they're going to go after all that, and they have to. That's the biggest thing. So, in regards to you and what you're going to be doing in the future, like I said, you're always welcome back here, anytime, and bring
Not
some
a problem.
friends.
I appreciate you guys, man. It was fun. I had a great time, and you guys are very knowledgeable, and y'all taught me a lot. You know, because I absorb information like a sponge. So, and I'm very, for the lack of a better word, humble, because when I learn, I'm like, oh, because all you guys taught me at least one thing with your conversations, and I'm taking it all in, and I definitely appreciate all of you guys' expertise in your different areas, and I have great respect for all of you guys, and I gained great respect from all you guys from tonight. So I really appreciate this. And this, for me personally, on an individual level, has done a lot for me as far as, tightening myself up a little bit. Don't be so harsh. Stay firm, but be open. And when someone's willing to help, accept it, and don't be so partisan, but at the same time, maintain that the Green Party is the party that needs to be built, but still be open to Democrats to at least listen to their views and understand where they're coming from and why they are still with that party. I'm not going to look at them as a moron anymore. I'm going to take a little more time to get to know the individuals. So I learned that tonight, so I appreciate it.
You shouldn't, because I got to tell you, and this is the first time I get to say this because I've been throwing the word NASA at Snork forever, but he did put something in the live chat, which I don't think you can see. He said, I did not work for NASA. However, I did stuff for them. For instance, after Columbia disaster, I invented a metal that glows for 24 hours if it is impacted. Bechtel, BECTEL, the contractor demonstrating NASA, considered using it in shuttles since they could inspect the whole spacecraft by going into the ISS, International Space Station, shadow. However, the space shuttle was shut down instead. So we took the metal to Lego, and now there's a glow-in-the-dark Lego.
Wow. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, either he's fucking with me, but he never really directly says.
That's pretty cool, though. At any rate.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did he get to talk on, or he was just in the chat? Did he get to talk?
Who, Snork?
Yeah, the guy, the NASA guy.
Yeah.
No, not NASA.
He's not NASA.
Private.
Well, I know he's not NASA, but the one that just did about the Lego. Did we get to talk to him, or he was just in the chat?
That's me.
No, you did. You talked to that. I was just talking about Snork, the guy you spoke to earlier.
Oh,
yeah,
in the chat. Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, the thing is, when you're on your phone,
guy
you
with
can't really
is that the guy with the good radio voice?
Yes, that's him, Snork.
Exactly. Oh, okay.
So listen, you'll be able to watch this later and all that, or whenever you want. And if you want, you can send it to whoever you want and post it to whoever you want. All this information and some of the stuff that's in the live chat is recorded. So there may be some questions in there or some comments that people say that you can field later on. And just go in to listen to you know what? When I go through here to listen to myself, first of all, I notice how much of an idiot I sound like, which is okay. But at the same time, I'm learning more about just reading the comments. I learned a lot of stuff from these people in this live chat. It's almost too much information. I feel like my brain's gonna pop, like literally.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I know how that feels.
Because there's just so
I
much going on
understand.
out there, bro. There's so much shit going on out there. Anyway, so thank you for coming on. Do you want to? If you want to stay, you can stay. But I'm going to be shutting down in a few minutes, pretty soon here.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to say just a final statement,
Yes,
and then
please, yes.
I'll go ahead and I just want to say again, thank you for the opportunity to be able to at least give my view, and let everybody know exactly who I am, as far as I was kind of a mystery and people are throwing out accusations. I'm glad I could speak to some of those. And I'm glad that I was able to get to know some you and other people who were talking, and you guys had great questions and great commentary, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. One of the best interviews I've been on, to be honest with you. One of the best, right there up at the top. And I'm going to go ahead, if it's okay with you. I'm going to go ahead and just, whenever you get your show and it's completed, just send it to me in the inbox, since we already hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just run it and live stream it, from Periscope and YouTube and Facebook. And I'll just live stream it whenever you give it to me. And I'll just put it in the rotation with all the rest of the shows we do. And I'll promote it. And I'll have you on my show, one day in the near future, and do an interview about your show and about what you got going on and whatnot. And my listening audience can, talk to you and pick your brain. So I hope to do that in the future as well. And I hope that we can continue to bridge the gap and continue to conversate and continue to grow together, so that we can ultimately get where we want to be as a people and as an ideology and as a party. Hopefully the Green Party is the party everybody eventually chooses, because it is the party of the people, by the people, of the people, and for the people. And I just hope everybody gets to learn that, and I hope we continue to come together, because I like this coming together and exchanging ideas, and that's what humanism is all about, and socialism is all about too. So again, thank you guys very much. I'm very humbled, and until we meet again at the appointed time. So thank you guys.
I have one question. I cannot find, there's a ton of Tony Smith on Twitter.
Oh, no, it's under the Real Green News.
Oh, that's
I think
you.
the Real Green News, or Real Green News Network. It's at Real Green News.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing that I have as like with myself is my Facebook page. Everything else I'm online with is all from the network. So the only thing I got for me personally is the Tony Smith page on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't do Facebook.
Well, I mean, I hang out on all of them. So I mean, if you're on Twitter, then you can add me on Twitter, and I'll, because I'm the one who I handle the Twitter account, the Facebook account. Well, it's a bunch of people handle the Facebook account, but I handle that, and I'm on the Twitter account and on the YouTube account. But I don't handle like our LinkedIn account. We got somebody else doing that. And our Google Plus account, we got somebody else doing that. And our Instagram, somebody else is doing that too.
Okay, I just followed you.
So in the notes of the show, just to let you know, I always put links of people that come on, and whoever's on all the time. I try to put it on there. And anyway, so people can show you and see us and reach out to each other and
yeah, Facebook is the main place that I congregate at. It's the main. That's where, if I'm not anywhere else online, it's Facebook. I stay on that place.
Excellent. Okay, guys.
And you can just put in the search box. Well, probably won't be able to put in the search box Tony Smith. Maybe just join the Green News Network. You know, put in the search box the Green News Network. You'll see the other Green News Network come up. But I'm the one with the Green News Network logo. So it's the lighter green one, not the darker green. So you click on that, join that, and then I'll see you join. Because I individually, whenever anybody joins, I individually go to that person, whether it be in the group or on the page, and I talk to them myself individually and thank them for joining. Say, hey, man. And sometimes we get like 100 in a day, so I have to go through 100 people thanking them. But I do it. I individually, and emails. Well, Christian handles that, but I do go to emails and answer individually emails, but Christian kind of like pushing me out of that role and said, let me handle that. So I'm like, okay. So, but yeah, Facebook's probably the best place. So join Green News Network, and then I'll talk to you and just tell me, hey, I'm from the show. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then I'll give you a link to my profile, and then you can just add me as a friend, and then I'll add you to our Green News Network chat group, and then we'll just be hanging out.
Excellent. Excellent. Here's a cool song. Here, listen, Tony. Here's a good song.
Yeah.
This is a song.
Okay.
It's not the original, though.
Yeah, that's awesome, though. Come together right now. Yeah, that's what we need to do.
That's right, brother. All right, everybody. So this was very enlightening, very important, outstanding. Thank you for coming on, by the way, Tony.
Not a problem. Not a problem. It was my pleasure.
We will be in touch for sure, and keep this ball rolling, bro. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks again. Y'all have a good night, all right? And I'll see y'all again on Facebook.
Mahalos, brother.
Good night.
All right. Later. Night.
Night. Cool, huh? Oh, look at Rebel's all excited. Jesus.
I'm all lit now.
Yeah, it looks like you're completely up. I don't see her get to bed tonight.
She's not going to. I don't know if anybody's going to do the show, but I've been here since 7:45, so I'm just letting you know Jim's got to go.
It's okay.
So be cool and stay cool. Thank you guys for coming on. I truly appreciate it, Snort, for coming in. Nice Lego twist to the end of that, by the way.
and we didn't use the metal in the Legos. We used the method.
The method to make it glow. That's funny. That's real? I thought you were kind of fucking around.
No, that was real.
Whoa, shit. Okay. That's awesome. And then Ben was talking and then he didn't talk, but Ryan was on for a little while. That was cool. Okay, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Aloha.
Love you guys.
Cut that last part off.
No, I'm not. I keep it all.
I'm going.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you for your help, by the way, Rebel. Thank you, Snort, for coming in, buddy. Okay, so I just want to say something that's super important. And I am a registered green. I now have more. I've always had. I would say a lot of energy and a lot of motivation towards the Green Party. But I have more now. I have more. And I have more ammunition as well. And thank you, Tony Smith, for that. That was freaking phenomenal. All the Greens. You know what? Fucking trips me out about the Greens. And I'm going to tell you real quick. If you ever go to a Green meeting, I'm going to tell you right now, you will feel stupid. There are some fucking smart geniuses. My teeth are pretty white. There's some, these people are, I feel like, I probably am the fucking dumbest guy in the room, but wouldn't you want to surround yourself by intelligence? super critical thinkers, people that are looking to enhance the quality of your life, you know, doing the things that are best for all and the planet. Wouldn't you want to be around that? You think about that. I mean, no, I'm hanging around with Republicans because we hate people. We hate clean water. We hate clean air. We hate the earth is fucking flat. You know, you're a woman and you don't get to have any choices. You want to be around the Republicans with that? Or the Democrats? Oh, yeah, we're going to take care of you. But we're not. Yeah, we'll get that for you. But I won't. You know? Let me fix that for you. Not going to happen. You know what I mean? Do you want to be around those fucking people? You know, oh, yeah, come and join our party. We'll help you out and help you get elected. But we're not. Criminal mentality, mafia-like people out there. And then the other side, there's just fucking psycho wacko crazies. What do you want to be a part of? What do you know what? I feel fortunate that I finally woke up so well and so high and so in such a great spot that I found the Green Party. Okay? It didn't find me because I was looking. Like there's millions of people out there right now that are just, I don't know where to fucking go, man. I don't trust this party. I don't trust that party. You know, are you guys just a protest? Does it fucking mean anything? Are you guys going to do anything? Are you going to get it together? Are you going to be cohesive? Are you going to paddle in the same direction? Are you going to forget your petty differences and just start fucking doing whatever it takes to bring people in? Okay? Of course, there are laws. There should be things that should be done. I don't disagree with that. But the process must be like a job application. If you want a position, bring in your application. What have you done? Oh, I've done this, I've done that. You know, have you done, and if you're, here's my biggest question. And I'm going to throw this at every single green out there. What the fuck do you have to lose? You're at the point now where you either jump in the pool or you keep touching the water to see if it's cold or too hot. You've got to go. We don't have time. We're in 40-something states, 43 states, I think he said he was, 40 whatever states, that there's greens that are low. There's 135 of them, 132 of them that are holding state and local positions. But there's nobody federally. Nobody. Imagine if we took all our resources, all our city, all our county and state resources that we have for them, and stuck a couple in the House. A few in the House. What would that do? What would that do? Pick the right one, make sure they're good, make sure they're ready. There's nothing, because they're going to go after them. They're going to come after them tooth and fucking nail, so you better make sure they're clean as whistle. Cleaner than a whistle. Before a whistle was even put together, clean as the metal that the whistle was made. Make sure they're ready to go. And that's another thing. Make sure your candidates are good. Make sure your candidates are ready to go. Make sure that they have what it takes to get a vote. Put people out there that can win. If you know somebody that's in the assembly or in a county position that, you know what, why don't you ever run for a position? I just don't think, but you're so good with people, but you have all the information, but you're so knowledgeable, and you've done everything right, you're clean, take on the role. Go out there and do it. So there's a few things, okay? We need more Greens to run. We need qualified Greens to run. They need to be, I'm not talking about totally scrutinized. I mean, if they can handle the position, if they've got the ability to take the position, if they haven't shot anybody in the past ever, then get them out there. And funding. Oh, God, funding. We need funding. The Green Party needs to use the hooks I'm talking about. Tony, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody else knows what I'm talking about. We've got a lot of work to do and a lot of things to do. So if you even begin to try to believe that the Democrats are going to try to fix the planet and everything else. Because they're still in the fracking and nuclear. Hillary Clinton just went and set up India that loves, all of India loves Hillary now because they have nuclear power. Not. That's a Democrat, by the way. I'll put it in simple terms. We don't have time. We don't have time. We've got to go. We've got to get moving. We have to be cautious. Yeah, of course. We have to be tactful, of course. But let's move, And I know this is the biggest problem. We're not getting paid. I'm not getting paid. My payoff is to know that the future is now being altered because I have some Greens in the federal positions. Now that they're starting to listen to us. They're starting to turn their heads and listen to it. That's the reward, because now they'll start to think about single payer much more than ever. Now they'll start to think about a living wage much more than ever. Now they'll start to think about climate change much more than ever. Because it's just back and forth from this idiot to that idiot. Democrat against Republican. Yeah. If you're thinking right, and if you're thinking correctly, if you have kids, and you're going to have kids, or if you want to have kids, or if you're young, and you want a future for your offspring, Democrat and Republican are just the wrong way to go, man. You've got to start supporting. Support those that actually give a shit. For the people, by the people, with the people, walking in unity with the people. They're not out there taking corporate donations, super PAC donations, lobbying bodies, big pharma, big coal, big nuclear, big fracking, big Wall Street, big banks. They're not taking that money. But if you want to go with that, then then you're the person that continues to vote for war. I can say last year I didn't vote for war. I voted for Jill Stein. I didn't kill anybody. I don't have blood on my hands. Anyway, I want to thank you all for coming on tonight. It has been a pleasure having everybody here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Garden Gnome, for your comments. Thank you, Jenny, for your comments. Thank everybody. Rosenfield, Dom, Rebel, of course, Benny G, super fantastic. I think, wasn't Stevie here for a little bit? Red Economics, thank you. Independent was here for a while. A few others. Bob, Remersma, welcome. Please. Oh, subscribe and all that shit. Pass this around. Get it out there. Zox Fox, always brilliant, always funny. He had a comment earlier. This is funny. Garden Gnome's own cousin, bastard. Wait. I can't read it now. I lost it, but it was freaking hilarious. Garstonama said, omit looks tasty. Wait, that's not it. Anyway, Zox Fox. Oh, Vox. Fucking brilliant stuff, dude. Seriously. You guys have been cool in the chat. Thank you. I know it gets a little more winky, Bernie, bro. Thank you for coming here, bro. Good seeing you. And everybody else. It's just fucking awesome. I could not be more. Well, we couldn't. The team here could not. You guys are part of it. You're part of it. This is what's great about this platform, is you are a part of this movement. Whether you like it or not, you're a part of it. Okay? Oh, Plantastic Life. I like that name, by the way. That's fucking hilarious. Here. Oh, we need critical thinking. Awesome. Everybody's just fantastic. Thank you, guys. Am I missing? I think I'm probably missing some people. Damn it. I didn't want to do that. But it's hard, I hate, there's going to be a point, and it's going to suck. And I'm hoping this will be the case, where people come and watch all of us and see all of us in our posts. But that thing goes by so fast, I just can't fucking keep up. But that would be awesome. That would be that would be more than awesome. It would be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. It'd be fantastical. You know, and that was very dorky, James. I'm a fucking dork. Love it. All right, all. Thank you very much for all coming on. Again, we have repairing to do. Get rid of the baloney. Let's find a way. If you guys want to come on to a Zoom meeting to do a conference call, not public, it can be private, to get out information, to get together, find what we can do to get things going. Hopefully, I'll be doing that soon with the Green Party. But we don't have time to dick around. We got things we need to do. So let's get going and keep it moving. Aloha to all of you. Thank you so much. Aloha. Aloha no ka'ako walino. Aloha.